I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Janis Kudla.
I'm Jesper de Jong.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I am Francisco Cerundolo,
and
you are listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. We are watching Kyrgios versus JUBB. It is currently poised at 2-all. I do apologize for it being late, but we are here. I am just struggling once again to see my stream here at the moment. Just give me a sec. It is currently JUBB serving at 15 love, currently poised. I guess you all saw the big news with Berrettini withdrawing with COVID. Isn't that insane? Sorry, I'm just having a bit of difficulty here with my stream. I'm going to just try to fix this here at the moment. Here we go. All right, we have Kyrgios returning at sort of this big serve there by JUBB. JUBB going for a forehand. It's wide by Kyrgios and it's 40 love for JUBB. Don't think we'll see a lot of rallies yet today. Court still very fast, being so soon in Wimbledon. You know, like the earlier rounds always much faster than the second week as the grass is still fresh. We see Kyrgios there returning with a backhand. JUBB going for a drop shot and works well. And JUBB takes the game and it's 3-2. Kyrgios is complaining, as we would expect. Sorry, just getting my bearings here a little bit. I now didn't check the chat. Hi, Alice Fires. Nice to have you in the chat. And Lou saying, Kyrgios can still make Nadal had a tough time, but they will only meet at the semifinal. Yeah, what's quite interesting is that Kyrgios would have faced Berrettini in the quarterfinals if he's able to get that far. So now it's quite a bit of an opportunity here for Kyrgios to actually now make it even further. If he's able to beat Tsitsipas in the third round, well, if he's able to get through today, then he will probably get Bautista Agut in the fourth round. And in the quarterfinal, it will not be Matteo Berrettini any longer, but more probably someone like Alex de Minaur, which is definitely a beatable opponent. So then we could maybe have Kyrgios versus Nadal in the semifinal, which would be quite exciting to watch. And Kyrgios is now serving big and it's 30 love. Hi, MQR. Nice to have you in the chat once again. Kyrgios now serving. It's a fault. Second serve. And it's interesting to see Kyrgios now in white attire, as he's been wearing the same kit now since the Australian Open. You know, that red, I don't know what you'll call it. So he has the same style of clothing here, where he has like a t-shirt and then like sort of under on serve there by Kyrgios. JUBB gets there with this drop shot of his own. Kyrgios goes for the lob, which was that successful or not? It was not. So try for the under on serve, not as successful this time. Hi, Dream Mises, nice to have you in the chat as well. Let's see Kyrgios serving at 40-15. It's a big wide serve, and he takes that game. It's 3-all. Just gonna increase my mic's volume. It might be a bit soft. All right, let's see. JUBB serving at 3 games all. He serves to the forehand of Kyrgios. Now JUBB to the backhand of Kyrgios. JUBB hits it long, and it's love 15. Hi, Lexi. Long time no see, actually. Nice to have you in the chat once again. JUBB serving at love 15. Fault, second serve, or was that late? I'm not sure. It was a first serve to the forehand of Kyrgios. A good return there by Kyrgios. Kyrgios will now wind up his forehand cross-court. JUBB gets there. Kyrgios in control of this rally. JUBB going with the forehand. Kyrgios on the run, who is able to not get the ball back into play. It's point to JUBB, and it's 15 all. So JUBB holding well here so far throughout this match. Definitely the underdog for this match, as JUBB is now serving to the forehand of Kyrgios, who tries for a block return. Usually very effective on the grass, but the block return goes long, and it's 30-15. Serve there to the backhand of Kyrgios, who's able to get a deep return back. And now with the backhand of JUBB, Kyrgios in control. He goes in. He now will be at the net for a volley. The volley does go over the net. It's a good volley there by Kyrgios, and it's 30 all. But a window of opportunity here for Kyrgios. Nice aggressive play where he hit the deep ball, and as soon as he sees that it's going to go deep, he steps in for the volley. JUBB serving to Kyrgios. Now JUBB with the backhand to the backhand of Kyrgios, which always looks so awkward, but is actually quite effective. Kyrgios now with the forehand down the line, and now with the backhand to the backhand of JUBB. Is that ball not long? It's not long still. It's quite a long rally for the likes of Kyrgios, who now tries to go for a forehand down the line, but it's it in the net, and it's 40-30. And now Kyrgios is complaining. Maybe it's about that ball, which I also thought was long, but if you want to complain, you should stop. JUBB serving at 40-30. He serves a big serve to the forehand of Kyrgios, who's not able to get that back. And it's a game for JUBB, and he leads the first set 4-3. Sam saying, come on, Nick, I need you to stick around to kick Steph out. I think if they meet, that is what's going to happen. I just think it's a bad matchup for Tsitsipas on the grass. We know that his big weakness is on the grass, his backhand return. And I think Nick can exploit that quite beautifully. So I think if we get that matchup, I guess that he probably, according to the bookies, will be the favorite for that match. Quality shot supporting Nick. I saw you yesterday, a bit of a friendly rivalry with Cam Williams yesterday, the Murray match against Thompson. It looks like Thompson would maybe be able to pull something off, but then in the end, it was not to be. We've got a few supporters here for Nick in this match, which is interesting. And I really do think with Berrettini not being in the draw any longer, it could be quite an opportunity here for Nick to go far. And I think once he reaches that stage of the semi-final, then, I mean, on that big stage against someone the likes of Rafa, that's when he plays his best tennis. So then I ironically feel that he's more dangerous or more vulnerable against lower ranked players in the early rounds of the tournaments. I think he'll play his better tennis and actually has a better chance, ironically enough, of doing well against the big three than against lower ranked players. Kyrgios serving big to the forehand of JUBB. Kyrgios now with the backhand in the net, and it's 15 all. Oh, we have a few Nick supporters here. So Stefani and Nicholas supporting Nick Kyrgios as well. Do you have any Australians in the chat? That'll be interesting to know, as I know the time zone would mean that it's quite late for you in the evening right now, probably. JUBB able to get that point, and it's 15-30. If he's able to somehow break, you will be serving for the first set. Let's see whether Nick can respond with a big serve here. Fault, second serve. Oh, he tries to go for a big second serve, but it's a double fault. And that means that it's 2 break points opportunities here for JUBB, which against Kyrgios is gold. Let's see. First break point opportunity for JUBB. Oh, fault. Second serve. Serve to the backhand of JUBB. Kyrgios goes for the gutsy forehand. JUBB is able to get there. JUBB now with a forehand to the backhand of Kyrgios. It clips the net and it goes over. It clips the net and it goes over by Kyrgios. That is very lucky. He survives that. It could have just as well not gone over the net, and he survives the first break point. And I feel like that was necessary. If Kyrgios gets broken, I think he will start to lose his mind maybe and lose his focus. Another breakpoint opportunity. Kyrgios serving to the backhand of JUBB, who's able to return that. Kyrgios with a forehand in the net. Kyrgios with a forehand in the net, and he smashes the ball into the stadium in frustration. And it's a break by Paul JUBB. All right, how will this affect Nick's mood as he already in frustration hits the ball into the stadium? Did he get a warning for that? I'm not sure. JUBB serving for the set. Big serve to the forehand of Nick, who shanks it. It's long and it's 15-love. Right, let's say Vlad saying, yes, it's 10 p.m. now in Australia, but gotta watch Nick. Yeah, I guess he is Australia's only hope, as Leia would say. Sean saying, hope Nick loses first round. Well, currently it looks like that's a possibility. JUBB serving for the first set. Here comes the JUBBster. Yeah, I've never heard of him before. Anybody in the chat, have you heard of him before? I've never heard of him. He's serving now at 15-all to the backhand of Kyrgios. Now with a backhand to the backhand slice of Kyrgios. JUBB now at the net. He tries to go for a top spin forehand, which is effective as Kyrgios is not able to get that ball back, and it's 30-15. NKR saying, who's JUBB? I only know Jabba from Star Wars. Yes, Jabba the Hutt, who I don't think would be good in tennis. JG saying, please like the video for all that are joining. Oh, we are quite a big number online, 151. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. If you do like this coverage, consider hitting the like button on this video and subscribe if you're new. We were able, Game to Love, were able to get to 40,000 subscribers. I think it was yesterday, which is quite a big celebratory milestone. So subscribe if you're new for more coverage coming your way. 40-15, and it's set point for JUBB. He serves, fault, second serve. JUBB serving to the forehand of Kyrgios. It goes for a big forehand, which goes long. And it's first set for Paul JUBB. Do we have an upset on our hands? It all depends on whether Nick can keep his composure or not. JUBB takes the first set against Nick Kyrgios. 6-3. Wow. Tell me in the chat, what is your prediction for the outcome for this match? Will JUBB pull this through, or will Nick Kyrgios make a comeback for this match? Tell me who's going to win this match and what is the final score going to be. All right, let's see. I think it all depends on whether Nick will be able to keep his composure and just keep on playing attacking tennis and not get distracted by things that are out of his control. Yeah, Sean asked me, watch the Alcaraz match. I did. It was very, very good. Exciting. I didn't watch it from the beginning, I must say. I only watched the final set, but it was quite high quality, I must say. Connor, last time we spoke, bro, was about Andy. I'm worried about the Isner game, but Murray has good records against huge service. Yes, he does. I remember specifically one year we played Isner in Wimbledon. I can't remember which year that was, like 2014, 15, 16. It's definitely one of them. And like I remember I saw when he practiced, he actually his coach, which I think was Evan Lendl, or was it? No, it wasn't. I can't remember who it was. His coach stood on a chair and served from the chair to like replicate like what it's going to be against Isner, which was quite interesting to see. But yeah, he has a very good record against Isner, so I actually I think he will be comfortable. And as soon as there's a rally going on, then I think Murray will have the upper hand. And I think with Murray's return, I won't say that his return necessarily diminished in quality over the years. So I actually think he will be fine against Isner. But we know on his day, Isner can beat anyone. But seeing how Isner struggled already in the first round against the qualifier, I think Murray will be able to get through that one. Lexi saying, I don't know JUBB 2, but I'm hoping Nick wins the N4. Nick serving at 30-15, serves big and it's 40-15. Sam, it's not going well so far, is it? Quality shot. Your bracket. Well, tell me in the chat, actually, for those of you that are participating in the Fantasy League on the TNNS app, tell me, how is it going with your bracket? I'm not surprised if everybody would say that it's going horribly because with all the withdrawals. I mean, with Berrettini and Hurkacz. And also Cilic out, whether it's due to COVID or losing. My bracket, I know, is now a shit show. I don't know. There's no other word for it. So, yeah, tell in the chat, how is your bracket going? Morning, Wendy. Nice to have you in the chat. Alice Fire saying, yeah, best match thus far. Definitely. DC saying, I thought Kyrgios in 3, but now Kyrgios wins in 5, I reckon. Interesting. Reston Desi asking, is JUBB coming to the net often? Nick has trouble with net rushes like Nishikori. Yeah, I actually saw an interview a few days ago where they asked Nick who is the most difficult opponent he has faced, and he actually said Nishikori, which was interesting to see. So far, like I must admit, I only now watched from 2 games all, but no, it doesn't seem like JUBB is really going to the net that often. 30 love for JUBB. Let's go Jabba the Hutt. Isner is 50 aces. Apologies for that. I am back. What happened is we have load shedding, which is the thing in South Africa where the government shuts down all the power. So I will be back in 2 minutes. Let's just Sean saying, Haman, is that enough? Yeah, sorry, it's just the power went out and now the generator has kicked in. So I'm just gonna get the setup back and I'll be back in 2 minutes.
What are you drinking?
Yeah, what
is that? Oh, coconut. Nice.
I thought it was like a pina colada or something. I want Karatsev to do well.
Can Medvedev win it? I think so. The winner, for me, Naomi Osaka. I think she's going to start the year with a bang. And then the Aslan breaks.
Well,
Alex can't believe it. Oh my God. Djokovic into his 9th Australian Open final. It's gone for the lob. He's got a smash.
He's got it. Djokovic.
18 Grand Slams from Novak Djokovic.
He wins his 9th Australian Open title. Down the line. Look at that. That is
Can't write this stuff.
Novak Djokovic has set a new world record. The return of Roger Federer.
He misses it.
Hurkacz has got it. Come on, son. He's gone forehand. He's a winner. Good. Rublev wins it. Ole, ole, ole. Stick to your Russian flag. It's wide!
It's wide!
Everyone else wins it! Aslan hitting it so hard, he's in! It's there! He's got the first set! Come on!
What a volley! What a volley from Tsitsipas! No, it's a double fault!
And I'm back. Sorry about that. Those of you that are on the chat maybe and from South Africa, you would understand my conundrum over there. Yeah, so it's a thing called load shedding. I don't know whether you in other countries have heard about it. So what they do is we have like stages, and then they cut off all power or electricity due to scarcity of the electricity. So then we can't use any power. All right, sorry. Let's see. What did I miss? It seems like Kyrgios was able to hold his serve there. Yeah, Sam asking how is Nick serving? He had abdominal issues. Yeah, no, that's why he withdrew from Mallorca just before he had to face Batista Agut. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. I must say I haven't really noticed that at this stage, but we will keep an eye on how he is serving and whether that could maybe be an issue that he's facing. Kind of saying he had 56 aces in the first round. Hopefully we get through it. As you say, Murray should have the upper hand in the rallies. Needs to serve well himself. Thanks for the shout out. Great channel. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think it will be an interesting matchup to watch. And anything can happen. But to be honest, I think his return of serve is too good for the likes of his. Now, as soon as the ball is back in play, then it's advantage Murray. Bass is saying the surf bots, although are great in my opinion, make the game a bit boring. I understand like why people would say surf bots are boring. Like I watched the one match, like it was a Belka against Isner in one clay tournament in Houston, I think, and it's literally like ace, ace, ace. And I can understand why that's boring. For me personally, it's even more boring when you have two players just rallying and waiting for someone to make an error. So yeah, I can understand why you'd say that. I find it actually fascinating to see, and especially like Nick, because it's not just ace, it's also like he has like, his underarm serve, he has tweeners and stuff like that. So for me, he is fascinating to watch. But I guess also Nick is not really like just a serve bot, right? He has a game besides that as well, which is exciting. Mike saying JUBB is one of those British players you only hear about during cross-court season. Interesting. Is it because he's a good cross-court player, or is it just because he will then get wild cards to play in cross-court tournaments held in the United Kingdom? As JUBB tries to go for a forehand down the line and goes wide, and it's 30-all on the serve of JUBB. Yeah, Nicholas asking, is Kyrgios injured? Not as far as I can see. He doesn't like limp or anything like that. So it doesn't seem like he's injured. He is frustrated, but I mean, that's nothing new. Yeah, Mike saying, I see JG got to ask Raducanu a question at a post-match press conference. Yeah, that's insane, right? So first Ben had the opportunity to ask Serena a question. Now JG also had the opportunity to ask Raducanu a question. What an opportunity that must be. As Kyrgios was able to hit a backhand passing shot, and he now has a break point. Let's see whether he can convert, which, as we know, on grass is very difficult to do. JUBB serving to the backhand of Kyrgios. It's a good return there by Kyrgios. Kyrgios in the upper hand with this rally so far. JUBB with the backhand to the backhand of Kyrgios. Now JUBB with the forehand to the backhand of Kyrgios. It's a deep, as it's in. Kyrgios now with a flat backhand to the backhand of JUBB as they're just now exchanging backhands. Nobody wants to go down the line. JUBB goes down the line, but it's wide. It's wide, and Nick Kyrgios does get the break. All right, and Kyrgios is leading in the set 3-1 at this moment. I'm trying to find Kyrgios's button. There we go.
When I step out on the court, getting furious. All the people come to see me cause they're curious. You'll be eating up these aces, I'm victorious. Don't be questioning my mind. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios.
All right, and hopefully this will just calm down Kyrgios's, outrage and his frustration. So when he's then leading, he's like, okay, I don't have any reason to be frustrated, and then hopefully that can calm him down for the remainder of the match. As Kyrgios steps in with a big forehand to the backhand of JUBB, who's trying to pass him, but Kyrgios is solid at the net. But Kyrgios actually puts that volley long, and it's love 30. Love 30 already back on the serve of Kyrgios. Nice to have some regulars back in the chat. Hi, Jamie, and hi, MJ. And hi, Alex, as well. Jamie saying, I think we're heading for the inevitable. Yeah, I was also, when we looked today, yesterday with the withdrawal of Cilic and Hurkacz that lost, and the withdrawal now of Berrettini as well. It's like, just give them the final already, right? That's how I feel at this stage. Thank you for everybody who is joining me for this coverage. Please consider hitting the like button on this video if you're enjoying it, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Oh, and Sean saying JG asked Alcaraz a question as well. All right, I didn't see that. That's interesting. Why did he ask him, and what was the response? Kyrgios serving at 15-30, big serve, but it's in the net, second serve. Neil saying, JUBB is only 22. Hardly anyone had heard of Nori when he was that age. That's true, right? And now he's top 10. Not saying JUBB will do that, but a lot of players on the men's side only come through in the mid-20s. That's very true. A lot of players these days, their prime, or when they start to shine, is a bit later in their career than some of the other players these days. Oh, Sam asking Kyrgios to consolidate this break. It is 30-all, and it's a big serve there by Kyrgios, unreturned, and it's 40-30, 1 point away from consolidating this break. MJ asking, am I in office? Yes, I am currently in office. Hi, Crosscourt Tennis. Nice to have you in the chat as well. Kyrgios serving in the net, second serve. James saying, Djokovic had a cakewalk draw, and Nadal does now too. Yeah, we'll have a chat now on what the new prospective opponents will be given these withdrawals. As Kyrgios serves to the backhand of JUBB, who's not able to return that ball. Kyrgios takes that game, and he leads 4-1 quite comfortably in this second set.
When I step out on the court, getting furious. All the people come to see me cause they're curious. You'll be eating up these aces, I'm victorious. Don't be questioning my mind. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios.
Kyrgios is complaining to the umpire. Unfortunately, I can't really hear what he's saying. I'm going to try to listen. So I'm just trying to hear what he's saying. I think he's complaining about verbal abuse from the crowd. I think so. Yeah, I think so. He's complaining about racial slurs, I think, from the crowd during serves or something. I'm not sure, to be honest. Let me know in the chat if you know. Jamie's saying Stefan Cross is not a threat. Yeah, I think if Kyrgios is able to get to that third round, I think he will be firm favorite to win that match. Does anybody know what happened to Dimitrov? Yeah, I also actually want to know. I saw quickly on Twitter that it's a walkover, but I'm not sure why. I saw he retired after being a setup. Yeah, so no, I don't know at all. So if you know in the chat, let us know. Mike's saying just because Kyrgios is losing doesn't mean he's injured. Yeah, it doesn't look injured, I must say. If I look at like how he's moving, it doesn't seem like he's injured. So I wouldn't worry about that. And he's now comfortably leading in the second set, La 15. Ruland, such a banger of a song. Yes, it definitely is. I think that's one of my like top 3 favorites because I think it's so fitting also to the personality of the player, being Kyrgios in this case. As JUBB hits another ball wide and it's love 30. Oh, yeah, Ruland saying he's complaining about disrespect from the crowd. Yeah, that's what I started thinking. And the umpire is saying that they can't remove people from the crowd. Right, let's see. JUBB serving to the forehand of Kyrgios. It's a nice return there by Kyrgios. Kyrgios now with a backhand, which goes wide, and it's 15-30. Interesting. Got off the phone with RS and finished the client's audit case. Well done. Nice. Now I can enjoy a bit of the tennis here. Wimbledon, what's better than that? All right, Kyrgios returning there in the net, and it's 30-all. JUBB serving in the net. It's a double fault. Double fault. And it's another breakpoint opportunity here for Kyrgios to steamroll throughout this second set. Breakpoint opportunity. JUBB serving to the backhand of Kyrgios. And it's a good deep return there by Kyrgios, which is a good start to the rally for him. Kyrgios now with a backhand to the backhand of JUBB, who is it in the net, and it's another break for the king of grass, Nick Kyrgios. All right, and this is now looking very, very comfortable for Nick Kyrgios. So if you are a Kyrgios fan and you were a bit worried after that first set, I think you can now calm down. It looks very easy going from here, as he will be serving now for the second set. So it's the forehand of JUBB. There's a good deep return there by JUBB, who now steps in with a forehand. Kyrgios not able to work with that. Started with a brilliant return there by JUBB. And as we know, what constitutes a good return on grass? Well, it doesn't have to be that hard as long as it's deep. And that's exactly what it did. It was a deep return there by JUBB, which made it awkward for Kyrgios to do something with that ball. Kyrgios now serving. Late for a serve. And it's an ace. It's an ace by Kyrgios, 15-all. Adamola saying Dimitrov had groin problems. Okay, that's very unfortunate. Yeah, I also thought that he was a very good prospect for Wimbledon. We know he can do some special things on the grass. Jamie saying that third and fourth section of the draw is barren. Who makes a semi from there? Yeah, we're going to have a look at that right now. Let's just see quickly if Kyrgios is able to serve out the second set. It's 30-15. It's a big serve there to the forehand of JUBB. JUBB now with the forehand to the backhand of Kyrgios. JUBB is hitting it nice and deep. Kyrgios now with the backhand to the backhand of JUBB. It tries to go down the line, but it's in the net. It's 40-15, and it's 2 set points up for grab on Nick's own serve. Big serve there to the forehand. Kyrgios now at the net. He tries to put it away, the volley, but it's in the net, and it's 40-30. One more set point opportunity for Nick Kyrgios on his own serve. The wind is quite intense, it looks like, if I look at their clothes. And he's serving directly into the sun, it seems like, as well. Nick serving to the forehand of JUBB. JUBB now with the backhand to the forehand of Kyrgios, who shanks it, and it goes long. And it's 2 set points saved by JUBB. Probably won't have an outcome on this set, but as we know, Nick, it can have an outcome on his mentality, which could then in the end have an outcome on this match. Deuce, Nick serving. Let first serve. Big serve to the backhand of JUBB, who tries to get it back, and he does. Nick now at the net. He goes for a drop shot, but JUBB had all the time in the world to get to that. And it's now advantage and possible break back point for JUBB. Yeah, that was a bit of a lazy drop shot there by Nick. I thought like he was there at the net to hit it away for a big winner, but he decided to go for the drop shot for some reason. And it's not like JUBB was far beyond the baseline. He was inside the court. Nick now with the serve to the forehand of JUBB. Nick now with a backhand cross-court. JUBB is able to get there, but it's it in the net, and we're back to deuce. Yeah, cross-court tennising. I'm pretty sure everyone's Wimbledon's draw is absolutely ruined. Yes, it's like, I'm not like, whoever's going to win that $500 is like someone who probably just said auto-generate. I guess because, I mean, now it's impossible. If you had Berrettini, Cilic, Hurkacz going far, then it's ruined completely. Nick now at the net, and now he's going for a smash instead of a sneaky drop shot. Much better decision there, and it's advantage and another 3rd set point opportunity for Nick Kyrgios. Yeah, Enti saying Nick could now have a great run. We're going to talk about the draw just after this 2nd set, which could be now Nick serving. Fault, 2nd serve. Big 2nd serve to the backhand of JUBB. He's able to return it deep. JUBB now with a forehand to the backhand of Kyrgios, as they're now just exchanging in the middle of the court. And Nick now with a backhand down the line, but JUBB is able to get there. And JUBB hits a forehand, which goes long. And this means that Nick Kyrgios does take the breadstick in the 2nd set. And it's 1 set all. Nick Kyrgios taking that 2nd set, 6-1.
When I step out on the court getting furious, all the people come to see me cause they're curious. You'll be eating up these aces, I'm victorious. Don't be questioning my mind, it's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios.
See, what does the draw now look like, given that Berrettini has withdrawn due to having COVID, and also Cilic having withdrawn due to COVID, and also Hurkacz losing in the 1st round, which wouldn't really affect the draw in such a way that, like, what's insane about the Cilic and the Berrettini withdrawals is that they both would have been on the side of Nadal, which is quite interesting. So let's just see in the chat, what are you saying? Oh, quite a busy chat here going on. Alex saying, well, this time it's an injury for Dimitrov, not a weak performance. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. Runan saying, I actually need Nick to win to save my brackets in fantasy leagues. So I had Nick losing against Batista Agut in the 4th round. So tell me, Ruland, I assume you then had him beating both Tsitsipas and Batista Agut. Did you then have him lose against Berrettini, I assume, in the quarterfinals? Sean's saying, when the grass wears down, it will play slower. Will it play slower or faster? Okay, so when the grass wears down, it actually plays slower, which is definitely favorable for Nadal. So, and you could see like how fast it was the first round, especially like Struff against Alcaraz. The pace was just insane. So it makes it then interesting, like when we have the Sam Querrey versus Nadal match, that's going to be on grass, which is quite fresh. So that will be interesting. But as the time goes by and the grass starts to deteriorate, then I think Nadal will get more comfortable as the grass is not, because then the ball skids less. It's more like mud almost, that it like bounces and then it absorbs the pace more. But when it's fresh grass, it skids more and then it's faster. I'm just saying, imagine if Nadal and Joko got it from Berrettini and Cilic. Well, now what's interesting, but now correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't like do insane research like I saw on Twitter, which is not like always to be just regarded as reliable. So as I have it, but as I say, correct me if I'm wrong and you know better, they are not obliged to withdraw if they have COVID. Because, and the reason I think so is that Berrettini said that he made the decision to withdraw as respect to the other players. So that will then entail or mean that he didn't need to withdraw, he just chose to. So now the question is, will Djokovic or Nadal withdraw if they get COVID? Now, I don't want to go into speculation, but given that, like, for example, Djokovic was willing to have that interview with someone despite having COVID, then you would think that maybe he'll be less likely to withdraw from his only possible Grand Slam he can win this year if he has COVID. I don't know. So it's not just the case, I think, like whether they get COVID or not, but also will they then withdraw if they do get COVID or not? Yeah, with the cancel Wimbledon, it seems like they will not. Yes, Sam saying also everybody's prediction is in the mud. What, Cilic out too? Yeah, Cilic withdrew yesterday and also due to COVID. So now it's both Cilic and Berrettini who withdrew due to COVID. Yeah, Sam saying, I'm curious to know who will win that 500. Yeah, it will be interesting because I think if we like, it's probably going to be someone like who doesn't even really watch tennis, maybe, who just decided for random names. I don't know. Will be interesting to see how that works. I'm just saying Nadal and Berrettini were practicing and then Cilic and Djoko were hitting partners. Yeah, I also heard about that. So it will be interesting to see what effect that has. But hey, at this stage, it's just speculation. Dream Tennis and not cancel, but suspend will continue on October. It'll also be to see, like, I know Berrettini said that he decided to withdraw, but it will be interesting to know, like, we don't know what's going on backstage. So it could be that Wimbledon is applying pressure to an opponent to say, listen, I don't know legally you don't have to withdraw, but it would be nice for you if you do that. And then it will also be interesting to see, will they, if that's the case, it's just speculation here, don't quote me on this. If it was a case of them applying pressure to Berrettini to withdraw, would they apply that same amount of pressure on the likes of Nadal or Djokovic? I don't know. Crosscourt Sinners saying maybe a Kyrgios and Felix fan will win. Yep. Will be interesting. Like, I think in terms of the bracket, if you like, let's assume that most of us has either got like, I think a lot of people have Djokovic and Nadal in the final, and most people will still, or is still a likely possibility. But as we know, like with how the fantasy thing works, like if your player loses early on, you lose points for that bracket section for all the remaining matches. So even if you have like, I don't know, it's interesting. So there must be like random people. Well, you can actually go and have a look, right? I assume at the leading board, you can have a look at like what their draws are. So I wonder where there are people that like predicted like Cilic or Berrettini or Hurkacz losing first round. There must be someone that said like, listen, I'm going to go all in. Let's have them all or one of them lose first round. I don't know. Sam saying, yeah, I'm pretty sure people put either Mathieu or Cilic in their brackets. Yeah, surely. So yeah, I don't know. It will be interesting. Oh, Rudon saying I had Mathieu winning the whole thing. Okay, so rip. Yeah, you didn't. I don't think you can forget about that $500, Roland. Yeah, whoops. Yeah. Oh well. I also like go broke or nothing. Like whether you are third or 300th, you didn't win, right? So you must go for upsets because firstly, upsets are going to happen. So it's about a case of picking the right upset. And then secondly, there's no use in just picking all the seeds because other people are going to do it as well. So then you're not going to win. Jamie asking, who makes the semi versus Djokovic? Okay, I haven't thought about this yet. So let's think. It would have been her catch, right? I had an Excel sheet, but I deleted it. So let's look at the draw. I assume you commented on this already on the previous or comment, or now already replied to that comment. But let's look at the draw quickly here. Wimbledon draw, because no, it's definitely not going to be Ruud, right? But maybe he surprises us. But I think from Ruud's perspective, he's getting lucky that the draw he's now receiving is quite generous. Okay, let's see. It's now also just a question of will the actual official Wimbledon site have a nice way of displaying the draw? I should not have deleted my Excel sheet. Well, the thing is also I didn't delete it. I just didn't save the workbook, which is quite unfortunate because now I lost it. Yeah, this is a terrible way they are doing it. I know someone I think said like on Wikipedia there is an oh no wait, it's actually not bad. Let's get back to that one. Okay, just waiting for the site to load. But let's get back to that question. So, Dream Tennis saying, if Nadal and Joker goes ill and Kyrgios is winning, they will suspend till October. Yeah, I don't think that will happen. Jamie saying it might be Berankis versus Nadal. All right. Yeah, so with regards to the withdrawal, whether they test positive or not. So I'm just going to actually remove this Wimbledon site because it seems like it's lagging my internet quite a lot. All right, let's see. So MJ is saying that Nadal would withdraw if he gets COVID and Djokovic would not. Yeah, so it's like speculation, right? So tell me in the chat, what are your thoughts on this? But obviously, it's just speculation. You don't want to like disrespect players or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, so Berrettini and Kyrgios. Yeah, would have been then your quarterfinal, I assume, yeah. That's weird. Playing with COVID? Yeah, well, I guess if you don't have symptoms, then it's physically possible to play with COVID. Yeah, saying Sam as if Djokovic would miss this opportunity. Yeah, especially given that like it's now the only Grand Slam he can win for the year, as he wasn't allowed in Australia. French, as we know, he didn't win. Wimbledon is now a big opportunity, given also his success at this tournament historically. And then, as we know, as it stands, he would not be allowed to enter the United States to play over there. Tanya saying, yeah, but it would come out in the media, and then he might as well shoot himself in the foot. It's an interesting take, and I did think about it. Like, let's say that the media knows he has COVID, and they know that he didn't withdraw. Like, what backlash would that create? And I guess a lot. And there was backlash with relating to, like, you know, the person from, who's it, El Quip, he saw during COVID, but it's like sort of as if it subsided already. So the question is, will it happen again? But another question also to ask is, so the media will only know he has COVID if he decides to share it, right? I don't think the tournament may share his COVID results. It's Djokovic's right to keep that private, I think. I don't know the laws. So then another question is, would Novak share the fact that he has COVID if he plans on continuing the tournament? And I don't think so. But then another question to ask there is, Novak will only know he has COVID if he goes for a test. So then the next question is, would he go for a test if they are not obliged? And as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, the players are not obliged to go for COVID tests. So why would he risk going for a COVID test if there is then a risk of the result becoming public knowledge, if he plans on playing anyway, regardless of the result? So then I think Novak would then not go, once again, speculation, like don't quote me on this, but I don't think he will then go for a COVID test if he's not really, if his symptoms isn't that bad that he will stop playing because of the symptoms. But tell me what you think. Now, Sam saying Djokovic also came in contact with Berrettini, and it doesn't mean that they're necessarily positive because they came into contact. And yeah, and also doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to have symptoms. It also doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to withdraw if they test positive. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to test. All these things. Yeah, Dream Tennis, Berrettini is ill, so he withdraws. Yeah, so it's not like he has COVID but no symptoms. I think that, or we don't really know, right? We don't know how symptomatic he is, but it seems like it's a withdrawal due to being ill rather than like necessarily being positive for COVID or something like that, but we don't really know. Okay, MQR saying bye, I have to watch Iga. Goodbye, say hello to, is it Ben that's doing Iga, I think. So say hello to me. Or to him from me. Ooh, bold prediction. Nicolas saying that Kokkinakis is beating Djokovic tomorrow. Djokovic did look uncomfortable yesterday, right? Like against his match with Kwon. So it'll be interesting to see whether he finds his form in the second match. I think he will probably. I mean, these big three players, they always get their form when it's required of them. So, but if Djokovic is playing the same form he did against Kwon, I think Kokkinakis maybe can do something. But we'll see. But beating, I won't go that far, but interesting take. Sam saying, I think 60% at Matiu and Djokovic final. Okay, interesting. Yeah, you can see like on the app like how many percentage, like who got them to win. So is it factually true? Like did people have more odds for Berrettini than Nadal on the app or not? I'm actually not sure. I'm just saying I think both Berrettini and Cilic were sick, and that's why they withdrew. Okay, so it's not just that they were positive, but they actually had symptoms, which then made them unable to step on court and compete competitively. Yeah, Sun also saying Berrettini said he had a flu, so he has to withdraw. Okay. Jamie saying Koch will get a set versus Djokovic, but that's it. Okay, so but also interesting. It will be an interesting match when he does get a set. If it's like one of the first two. I think if it's like the 2 sets to Djokovic and then Kokkinakis gets a third one, I don't think people were like, ooh, we got a match on our hands. But if it takes like the first one or the second one, then it will be quite interesting then to watch the remainder of that match. Dream Tennis saying, if you have flu sickness, you can't last 2 sets. Well, you have a lot of people that, so if you have symptoms, right? If you have symptoms, but there are a lot of people that like didn't even know they had COVID and they were like just going on with their sports life. So I guess it depends on whether you have symptoms or not. Obviously, if you experience symptoms, then you're going to struggle. But I think it is possible to be positive and show no symptoms at all and continue to play competitively. Yeah, Jamie said just use Wiki. Yeah, I actually want to go to the Wikipedia. I remember someone said on a Wiki it's a bit easier to see how the draw is looking. So we'll be playing Djokovic in the final. Well, currently, as it stands, Nadal is the clear favorite, I think, to make the final there. Given that his prospective, fourth round opponent would have been Cilic, and he's now out due to COVID. And his semi-final opponent would have been Berrettini, and he's out due to COVID. And then also it would be interesting to see after this match, we have Felix Auger-Aliassime against Maxime Cressy. And there could be a massive upset on the cards as well. In fact, would it be so massive of an upset if Cressy is able to take the W? I don't think so. I really think that's possible of happening. And if that is the case, then Nadal wouldn't face his prospective or predictive, whatever the correct word is, quarterfinal opponent either, because that's poised to be Felix or Gialasim. But Felix could lose before that, either against Cressy in the first round or even maybe against Jack Sock in the second round, which we know can always also be very dangerous on the grass. As JUBB is able to hold his serve there, and it's 3-2, both players still on serve. I'm just saying, I say that because Nadal had symptoms when he had it, and Djokovic was asymptomatic last time. Yeah. Oh, that's why you say Nadal will withdraw and Djokovic not. Okay, people talking about antibodies and debating. So I'm hesitant to go into debates relating to how the virus or the vaccines and stuff like that works. Tanya asking, what are the rules for this tournament when it comes to COVID? Does anybody even know? Yeah, I don't. So if you know, for a fact, then do let me know. But as far as I have it, I don't think there are any rules. And the only reason I think there isn't any rules is none of the posts said due to the rules and stuff like that. So which would then suggest that they decided to withdraw rather than being forced to withdraw. Also, another reason I would think that there isn't any rules is if there is a rule that you have to withdraw if you have COVID, then I would think it will be complemented with a rule that says you have to get tested, which I don't think there is. So I could be wrong. So let me know if you have some information that I do not. I'm just saying, do I like Djokovic or Nadal? I know you love Fed. Yes, I do. I love Federer. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant, man. Brilliant player. Brilliant experience to just watch his art. Anyway, Djokovic or Nadal? Do I like them? Well, I respect them a lot, obviously, as they are brilliant players, and also they contributed a lot to the sport. As we know, like Nadal and Federer, as their friendship, which I do think the media they make it something bigger than what it actually is. I think they're not friends as they would go out for dinner or something like that. I think it's just a case of a lot of mutual respect. But anyway, so unfortunately, when I look at these draws, for example, now I want both Nadal and Djokovic to lose, simply because that would be better for Federer's records. So with regards to the GOAT thing, so according to me, I don't want to go into deep that unless you want me to, but according to me, Djokovic is the GOAT as it stands. So, and Federer second and Nadal third. And it's actually not just my opinion, it's according to the stats. If you look at Ultimate Tennis Statistics, which is a website where they have a GOAT calculator, Federer is their second, Nadal third, and Djokovic first, despite Nadal having 22 Grand Slams. So they look at a lot of variables, not just your total Grand Slams. So then from a Federer fan perspective, you would rather want Djokovic to become even more the GOAT and Federer staying second in that official GOAT race, according to those statistics. Now, I think a lot of Federer fans would say the other way, if Djokovic wins, then he's on 21, and then Federer is third in the Grand Slam tally, which is also true. But I think Djokovic is still going to win a lot of Grand Slams going forward anyway. So if I had to predict, I would say Djokovic will have the most slams at the end, but tell me what you think. So if we have a Djokovic-Nadal final, who would I support? Probably Djokovic, but also then when it comes to actual match, to see how they play, it's for me more entertaining to see Nadal playing than Djokovic. So it's a difficult one for me. But obviously I respect them both. When it comes to what they have achieved. Oh, is it Faisan's birthday? Okay. Well, happy birthday, Faisan. Happy birthday, Quality Shot. Hope you have a fantastic day. Yas asking what has happened to the game between Steve Johnson and Dimitrov. So Dimitrov had to withdraw, and apparently it's due to a groin injury. Tony asking, do you have the time for Djokovic versus Kokkinakis? I don't think so. I think they only released the match play, the order of play, like by the end of today. So no, I don't think that is out yet. Tenzing asking, do I think Djokovic has a chance at winning Wimbledon? Ooh, winning. No, I don't think so. Like, I really hope so. That would be like an insane story to follow. But I don't think he has a chance of winning. He will have to beat, now let's think about it. Second round. I can't remember who his second round opponent is. But I don't think it's someone seeded highly. Then third round is Tsitsipas. I think he will get through that one. Then it's probably Bautista Agut. Now, Bautista Agut has, like, Kyrgios has had trouble against Bautista Agut in the past. I think there are 2 eddies, 3-1, but of which the previous one was a walkover. So then it's 2-1. And I know, like, US Open last year, Bautista Agut beat Kyrgios in straight sets. So that could be a very, very difficult match. If he's able to get through that one, then he will face in the quarterfinals now not Berrettini, but probably Alex de Minaur, which I will say is a winnable match. I think even more winnable than Bautista Agut. And then Sebi's Rafa, which will be insane to watch. Like, imagine you have Nadal versus Kyrgios semi-final. That will be insane. But I think by that stage, I think there's a risk of Kyrgios running out of gas as he's playing doubles as well, right? So there's a risk of lack of stamina. And then also the quality of the opponents you're facing. Then you'll have to face Nadal and Djokovic. And to beat Nadal and Djokovic in the Grand Slam, that will just require insane talent and luck and stamina and all those things. Also, I think what we have to take into consideration is by that time, the court has lost a lot of its grass. So the court speed will get slower. So when you have a Nadal versus Kyrgios matchup in the semi-final, on that court, as it looks at that stage, is a completely different matchup than Nadal versus Kyrgios in the first round, where you have fresh grass. I think there'll be a lot of less free points for Kyrgios on his serve, which is something he will definitely need facing Nadal. Black Dragon asking, do you think Wawrinka will retire this year? So the results would suggest yes, right? Because it doesn't seem like he's going to get his form back. I don't think he's going to. Tell me in the chat if you disagree. But I don't think he's going to get back to the level he was, or not even like top 20 level. I don't think so. But he has stated that he really has the fire in him still to keep on fighting and get back to the best of his game. So in terms of his, like, psychological, where he's standing at this point, I would say no, because he doesn't plan on retiring when you look at his interviews. Now, the question is, okay, is he in that case just happy playing first rounds and losing early and like playing challengers? If he is, well, then yeah, he won't retire because he's happy with just playing. So I think it depends on what does he expect from himself. Is he still going to say, I have the fire in me after 1 year if he's still losing first rounds? I don't know. So according to him, he's not going to retire soon. From my perspective, I guess it depends on how important is results for him going forward, because I don't think the results are going to return. Karthi asking, so where is this match going? So I think both players are currently holding the serve quite comfortably. I haven't really commented on a point-by-point basis this far. We'll probably, as it gets to the business end of the set, we'll have a closer look at how it's going. But so far, both are comfortably holding the serve. Nick with 40-15, and it seems like it will be 4-all. And will be interesting if it goes to like a tie break, because then it's all about like who can keep their composure. And as we know, Nick can suddenly decide, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So then it would be quite interesting to see how it goes from there. Let's see. What do you think in the chat? Where is this match going? No way. Federer is class. I don't know what you're referring to there, but I agree. He is class. Too much weight on the World Tour Finals. Oh, you mean for the GOAT calculator, what they have there? Yeah, famously Nadal not having any World Tour Finals titles. DC saying Federer is most pleasing on the eye. Yes, I have to agree with you there. It's just such a joy to watch the movement and stuff like that. Duarte saying, I wouldn't say it's about the tournament rules in the case of COVID. You must follow the country guideline, which should say to isolate. Yes. So as far as I know, England doesn't have a rule that says that you have to isolate if you test positive. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, there isn't such a rule. But obviously, the tournament may decide to enforce a rule that is more strict. Surely, I think they can. They just can't have a rule that is less strict than the requirements by the government. But they can make their own rules as to who may or may not play. Dreamtime saying Ultimate Tennis Stats is a bunk. They have points for consecutive slams. All right, yeah. Well, interesting to like download all those stats things that they have on Excel, which is downloadable, and play around with the variables yourself. It could be an interesting like podcast then also to say, okay, I'm going to download this. I'm going to analyze it using Excel stuff and have a 2-hour discussion where we chat and manipulate the variables according to what we think in the chat should be the relevant variables, and then try to statistically determine the GOAT and not just go by emotion. I think that could be quite an interesting podcast. Man's a genius. I'm not sure who you're referring to. Not me, surely. Okay, Black Dragon saying that GOAT calculator is flawed. I say Joker is 1, Nadal 2, Fed is definitely 3rd. So the thing is, like, the GOAT calculator is statistics. So as soon as you say it's flawed, you have to then statistically like back your statement of it being flawed, because the risk of just saying I feel like this is that you bring in your emotions, and emotions is a very dangerous thing. Like as Obi-Wan says, don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. He says to Anakin when Padme is falling out of the airplane and he wants to go and rescue her, despite her comfortably just landing on sand. And I'm surprised he actually has the guts to go to the sand, because we know he hates sand. It's rough and it's irritating and it gets everywhere. But yeah, so I mean, you can disagree with the calculator, but then you have to have reasons like what variables do you agree with and what not, and then go and manipulate that variables and then prove that it's this variable that I don't agree with, and see how when I manipulate this variable based on what I think is fair, then it shows this GOAT ranking and I agree with that, rather than letting emotions go into play, like and nitpicking, stats based on what will give your favorite player the GOAT. Okay, Catherine saying Federer 3 generations: Sampras, Agassi, Djokovic, Nadal, Tsitsipas. And then there's the weak generation debate and all those things. But the calculator does actually take that into consideration by incorporating your ELO ranking, which takes into account the quality of the opponents that you faced. Alice Fire saying Nadal only one of the 3 GOATs who has not broken rackets. That's insane. Very, very well done. But then also interesting stat is that Federer is the only one who hasn't defaulted from a match mid-match, which is also quite an insane stat. Jamie Drummer saying Djokovic Nadal final year would be GOAT decider, in my opinion, as if Nadal gets 3 ahead, I think that's done. Well, especially then if Nadal is able to win that and he goes for the calendar slam, given that Djokovic wasn't able to do it last year, I think that adds more spice to that debate. If Djokovic was not able to get that calendar slam, the next year is Nadal like, okay, I'll do it. So yeah, that will be quite interesting. Djokovic in the end of days of his career. Ooh, say that at your own peril. We've said that of Federer starting 2013. So I think with any of these big 3, it's not done until it's done. And I mean, end of his days? No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, his results, you can't really interpret his results of this year yet because he hasn't played much. And in terms of how he moves physically, I don't see him having any physical problems with regards to movement due to age. Nadal ends with most titles. Well, Grand Slam titles, right? Not necessarily total titles. I don't think he will come near the Jimmy Connors record there of most titles in total. Nadal beat Kyrgios in the second round in 2019. Yeah, it's true, but that was a very, very close match. So I think I think the fact still is true that it is less likely as the tournament goes on. As Kyrgios is now serving at 15-all, and he's serving to stay in the set, and JUBB is not able to return that, and it's 30-15. Dream Tennis saying we have a lot of moving the goalpost when it comes to the GOAT debate. I think that's why, like a podcast where you go statistically on an Excel sheet and you work with the variables and you do a technical analysis, I think that will be an interesting take, because usually these GOAT debates, it gets very emotional and subjective. Which, at the end of the day, it will be, right? But then at least let the subjective components be related to what variables to use in your analysis, rather than like nitpicking, like, you know, emotional type of rationale in deciding who your GOAT is. There's a nice rally there, but JUBB hits it in the net and it's 40-15. Monica asking, when is Rafa playing today? Let's see. So there's this cool thing called Google. And if you type in the name, you can then see 3:45, you will play Cerundolo. So that is about in 1 hour's time. Sorry, in response, at least you own Loving Fed and didn't defect to Nadal or Djokovic. Oh, I still respect the other two players, even if... Oh, MJ saying, I hate Fed with all my being. I may be the only one. No, I don't think you're the only one. I think there are a lot of people that hate him. I think there are people that... I think a lot of Djokovic fans would hate him because of Djokovic getting like disrespect from crowds that support Federer, so that would like develop a negative reaction towards Federer. But I also guess there are a lot of people that feel like that he's maybe like pretentious. I don't think he is, but I can understand that there would be people that think like he's pretentious and like scared of stepping wrong to keep the sponsors happy and stuff like that. So no, I can see where you're coming from. Saying your mum loves Fed, and even bought a pic of him at the US Open we went to. Yeah, so I have like a real size poster of Federer in my room. It's like, I will bring it to a stream one day and I can show you. So it's like a cardboard poster, 3D, a life size of him. And then when he wins a Grand Slam, hasn't happened recently, but when he does, or when he did way back, I would then bring him to work, and then like we celebrate the victory with him. And then on his birthday, the 8th of August, I always bake a cake on his birthday. And then we eat cake with the poster. I'll actually show you a picture if I find it where I show where we eat cake with him. Is it embarrassing? No, it isn't. As JUBB is now serving Kyrgios here with a window of opportunity, as it is Love 30. Thank you for everybody that is joining me with a chat. If you are enjoying this live coverage, where we look at the match on hand as well as talk other topics related to tennis, the sport that we do love, please consider hitting the like button on this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new for further nice debates and discussions and following of the tennis matches live coming your way to your doorstep by Game to Love. JUBB serving now to the forehand of Kyrgios. It's a nice return there by Kyrgios. Kyrgios now going to the forehand of JUBB, and it's nice and deep by JUBB now, but they're not really going side to side. It's more like in the middle of the court. And there Kyrgios tries to change the direction of the shot, but it goes wide, and it's 15-30 for JUBB. Dream Tennis say, yes, manipulating the variables is a podcast in itself. That will be fascinating, especially when you try to, like, you keep it professional and like academic, where you look at it analytical and not like get emotions in your way. I think that would be quite a something like else that we haven't seen yet in a podcast, because usually these podcasts emotions can get in the way of a good analytical like study. Dream Tennis, that's a lot of episodes. I hope GTL do it. Oh, yeah, like the analytics. It would be quite interesting. And there will be quite a lot of work that will have to go into it beforehand to prepare for this broadcast. Doing all these analytics in Excel and making a nice, like, interactive dashboards where you can go and manipulate the variables with your dashboards. Maybe a bit of Power BI would be, that would be insane. It would be a lot of work, but it would be insane. Kyrgios has 2 break points. JUBB serving to the forehand of Kyrgios. JUBB now hitting the ball in the net. It's a break for Nick Kyrgios, and he will be serving for the 3rd set.
When I step out on the court, getting furious. All the people come to see me because they're curious. You'll be eating up these aces, I'm victorious. Don't be questioning my mind. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios.
Kyrgios.
All right, and it is Nick Kyrgios that will serve, and he's complaining to the umpire again. Unfortunately, I don't have any audio on my coverage, so I don't know what he is complaining about. If you do know, let us know in the chat what is bothering him, but he's in a very, very comfortable position now, as he will be serving. And as we know, to break Kyrgios on grass, that's probably one of the most difficult things to do in this sport. Kyrgios will be serving for the third set. Thank you for everybody that is joining me. Hit the like button if you are enjoying this coverage with me. Let's see whether Nick can pull this through. Living logically, saying Kyrgios beats Nadal in the semis and loses to Djokovic in the final. So one of the things about Kyrgios, right? So and Kyrgios hits that 4 and ace, 15 love. When you look at other like next gen players, your Zverevs, your Casper Ruuds, I think we all can agree they have a bit of a choke mentality in them. And I think it's due to like being overwhelmed with the occasion, where like when they face a big 3 opponent in the Grand Slam, they're like, ooh, I can't do this, you know. And I think if there's one person who's not like that, it is Nick Kyrgios. In fact, I think he's the total opposite. He's like, ooh, it's Nadal. Ooh, it's Djokovic. Now I'm going to play even better. I'm going to focus for the first time in years. And he's going to play his best tennis. And he's not going to be like overwhelmed by the stage of it being a Grand Slam semifinal or final, unlike I think what happened to Ruud, as Kyrgios is now serving at 40 love, trying to get the set. So I think Kyrgios will play some of his best tennis in the semifinal or finals, as JUBB is now serving Kyrgios with a tweener, but I think JUBB is will able to get that, and he does. So Kyrgios went for the tweener. It was not successful for 15. So I think, Kyrgios, I think he will be able to do well in those matches. I think it would make for a fantastic semifinals and finals. While if we had something like, let's say, Djokovic versus Demir or Batista are good, I think we all know what would happen in that final. But with Kyrgios, there's always like that, I actually don't know. And I think it's also because of, like, we know Kyrgios' potential. The question is just, can he reap that potential in the final or not? And in my opinion is, the final will not be a reason for him not doing well. He loves that big stage. Kyrgios is now getting frustrated there. Not sure why. Is it challenging? It can't be a challenge. That was way out. I think I would assume, but it's muted the audio, so I won't know, but I assume it's maybe due to the crowd that is getting involved mid-serve. As he's serving now big at 40-30, still set point on his racket, but it's now going to be a second serve. He serves to the forehand of JUBB. Kyrgios now with a big forehand, and he hits it for a winner. And as the third set goes to Nick Kyrgios, 7-5.
When I step out on the court getting furious, all the people come to see me cause they're curious. You'll be eating up these aces, I'm victorious. Don't be questioning my mind. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. Kyrgios.
All right, and I think if you are supporting Kyrgios throughout this match, I think you would now be a bit relieved, as he now only has to win one more of the remaining sets possible to win. If you look total points won, it's 36 to Nick Kyrgios and 30 to Paul JUBB. So it's quite tight. I think both players comfortably held their serve until the very end of that set. Dreamton is saying, because if you change Grand Slams to 20 points instead of 8, then Nadal is number 1. If you change rank 1 is 20 points, Djokovic is number 1. Well, to change it from 8 to 20 is quite a jump. But yeah, it will be interesting to go and manipulate those variables. Sort of saying JUBB is proving a tough opponent so far for Kyrgios. I think in grass, it's going to happen where you hold your serve until like the business end of the set, and then it may maybe look like you're struggling because your opponent is holding their serve, but it could be just the surface that doesn't really allow you to break through the opponent's serve that easily. Dreamton is saying nobody cares about 250, 500 titles. Well, that's a point of view. as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say. Alex saying, if you go back 3 to 4 years, according to the most predictions back then, Djokovic should have been ahead today by 3 or 4 slams. Really? Okay, that's interesting. Well, also we probably have to take into account that COVID happened, right? So there were a few. Okay, so Wimbledon, he wasn't able to get there. And then with the US Open, unfortunately, he had that default, which is just insane. Alex saying the only live poster I ever had of tennis was of Anna Konikova. All right. Do you still have that poster or not? Tanya, if there was no COVID and all the mess that happened, he probably would have been. Okay, yeah, so you also brought it up that COVID did mean that there was a bit less opportunity to get some additional titles. Sean saying, problem with the GOAT debate is people really change their mind because they're already a diehard fan. So I did change my mind. I said Federer was the GOAT. And then as soon as the GOAT calculator went for Djokovic, then I was like, okay, Djokovic is now the GOAT. So no, I did change my mind. Federer was the GOAT to me. And then later, Djokovic became the GOAT in my mind, despite being a Federer fan. So, but I see what you're saying. A lot of people won't be willing to hear other arguments. They already made up their mind and they're going to stick with that opinion with regards to the GOAT debates. But I guess that's the case with many things in life. Like, people are not easily going to change their mind on any topic that is highly debated out there, whether it's sports or political or whatever. All right, let's see. JUBB now going for a backhand to the forehand of Kyrgios, which goes big. JUBB is able to get the Kyrgios is now stepping in with a big forehand cross court. JUBB is able to pass, though. JUBB is it for a passing shot winner, and it's 30-15. Dream Tennis. Sean, I somewhat agree. If the contenders are close, then it's sentimental. But if someone has a big lead, they will change their mind, but not their heart. Alice Fire is saying, well, Kyrgios did choke Westendal big time in Indian Wells this year. I can't remember that match. Maybe remind me what happened over there. But I guess also there's a difference between like choking due to the stage is too big versus choking just because you're not focusing, I guess. Rudan saying, I'm liking JUBB so far, pretty consistent in the rallies. Yeah, he's definitely not like being hit off the court, as he's now serving at 40-30 to take the first game of this fourth set. Second serve. Alex saying, unfortunately, moved out of home long ago. That Anna post is probably still there. All right. I think it's quite a difficult thing to travel around. That 250s and 500s, I was referring to the GOAT calculator. Yes. I know that's what you mean. Mike saying, well, real tennis fans care about all tournaments. Interesting. But also the thing what we have to consider is that the problem with just looking at total titles, whether now it's the Grand Slams or other titles, you must surely also incorporate how far you went if you then didn't win. Because if you just say, okay, well, 22 Grand Slams versus 20, you are ignoring how far you went when you didn't win. So then you regard making the final the same as losing first round, which doesn't make sense, right? As Kyrgios is now hitting his backhand to the backhand of JUBB, as we have quite a safe exchange between these two players. Kyrgios now hitting a backhand to the backhand of JUBB down the line. Kyrgios gets it with a forehand. JUBB now exchanging his forehand to the forehand of Nick. Nick is now going to try to step in, but it's not necessary. The ball goes long of JUBB, and we are back to deuce. My saying, I wish people would stop using the term choke. Well, so I'm from South Africa, right? And our cricket team has this choke label on them because every World Cup we are like in a winnable position and then we don't. And it started with the 99. I don't know who of you in the chat watch cricket, but in the 99 World Cup, then Nick goes for a backhand down the line, but it just goes wide and it's advantage for JUBB. So in the Cricket 99 World Cup, we played against Australia in the semi-final. And we were like in such a good position to win. Lance Klusener had boundaries in that last over. And then we just needed one more run. And then there was a mix-up in the middle between Klusener and Alan Donald. And then the match ended up being a draw. And then due to like how the points looked before that match, we then lost that match and didn't win a World Cup. And up until this day, South Africa has never won a Cricket World Cup, which is insane. All right, let's see. JUBB was able to hold his serve quite comfortably in the end. Well, not comfortably. It was a disadvantage, and he's up 1-0. Any link to watch? Unfortunately, I don't know about that. I know the Wimbledon does have like a list of official broadcasters on their site, but maybe that's not exactly what you're looking for. Dream tennis, but isn't tennis GOAT for the masses, not only for the real tennis fans? Yep, it's up for debate, I guess. And also, I think another question you can pop in there philosophically is there a difference between great and best? Like, what makes you great? Like, greatest of all time, best of all time. Is there a difference? Because if you're looking at great, maybe you can then argue like you have to put in other factors as well, like your influence and stuff like that. And then it gets back to like the Great Gatsby when we did that at school. Then it was like, what does it mean to be great and stuff like that? I didn't pay attention then, so I can't tell you. I wish Nikki all the best. Schwantek bagels. Okay, interesting. Thanks for the update over there. Alex saying South Africa's best sport is rugby union, if not mistaken. Yeah, so the Stormers just won a big tournament there, which was like international. But yeah, I think probably our rugby is the most successful. Yeah, probably it is. Dream tennis, yeah, I was just criticizing the calculator, not the debate, yes. Gaming with Nate. You think Rafa can win Wimbledon now? Well, I thought he can win Wimbledon regardless of the draw, but it's now definitely easier with Cilic and Berrettini withdrawing. So yes, definitely he can win Wimbledon. Captain Darling, nice of them. Great Gatsby references. Yeah, I just remember there was this question in school, like when we studied Great Gatsby. It was like, what? And I struggled, like I wasn't good in English. Like, well, as you can hear, also probably with my bad English accent, but no, I wasn't good in those types of discussion questions. Like now, Great Gatsby wears like a pink suit to his party, and what does that resemble, and what does it mean? Is he great or not? Like, I don't know. Give me a math problem. I'm better with that. As Kyrgios is now returning a serve there by JUBB. Kyrgios now with a backhand to the backhand of JUBB, and I must say, Kyrgios in this rally so far. I think the reason why JUBB maybe looks so comfortable in the rallies is Kyrgios is not really looking at winning these rallies and making sure it's short. He's just putting the ball back into play, allowing JUBB to get in some kind of rhythm. JUBB serving at 15 love, and he serves to the backhand of Kyrgios, but it goes long the serve, second serve. Kyrgios got a point penalty in the tiebreak at Indian Wells. Okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah, so we know that his frustrations can get the better of him. Hurkacz was one of the upsets. What do you think about other top seed players who can face the upsets? All right, so let's look at the top players. So if you look at the Wimbledon seeds, let's Google it quickly just to get the top players based on seeds. Wimbledon seeds. I'm just going to go to the Wikipedia. Wimbledon 2020 Wikipedia. That loads easier. All right. So Djokovic and Nadal, I don't see them losing early. I don't see that happening. Casper Ruud, definitely. Although his draw is quite kind. Like if you go to Casper Ruud's draw, yes, Ramos Vinolas. Okay, he beat him straight sets. He will face next Hugo Humbert. He's had a good grass court results previously, but not this calendar year. He doesn't really have good results. And then Ruud would be facing Goffin or Baez in the third round. Also really not that difficult. Baez probably not being like a good on the grass court, and Goffin not having a good calendar year so far. And then fourth round, he will be facing Tiafoe or Bublik, probably Tiafoe. So he can lose to Tiafoe. The question is, would that be considered a early round upset? The fourth round? Not really. So no, I don't think Ruud will be, despite him not really being good on grass, I don't see him losing in the first 3 rounds. Okay, then we have fourth seed Tsitsipas. And yes, okay, so there's the other one. I see him losing against Kyrgios in the third round. But if you're asking like early as in round 1 or round 2, Felix, definitely. There is definitely upset alert on the cards there, I think. He's playing against Maxime Cressy, who I think his game would be very well suited to the grass with him serve and volleying each point. So that's going to be difficult. And I've got the feeling that Felix is going to get frustrated with that. We'll see later today, coming your way by Game to Love. And then second round against Jack Sock will also be, I think, very difficult. As we know, Sock with his game, grass will be very well suited to that as well. As Kyrgios is now at the net, he goes for a drop shot. Sorry, not Kyrgios, it's JUBB who went for the drop shot. Kyrgios was able to get there, and it's 15 love for Kyrgios. Alex asking, do I remember Amanda Coetzer, South African tennis player? So remember, no, but I know about her. Like, it's a name that's like familiar to me, but I haven't watched her like when she was playing. I only started watching tennis actually in 2013, which is quite recent. So no, I haven't seen her play. Yeah, Art Project. I just woke up and saw Iga opening with a bagel. Yeah, she's just dominating, eh? And I wonder, tell me in the chat, do you think her domination is going to end sometime soon? Like, is she going to win Wimbledon? Like, on the one side, you're like, well, grass is not a favorite surface. But on the other side, she's dominating so far that, like, it's difficult to picture her losing any match regardless of the surface. Abe asking, who will win? If you're referring to this match, I think Kyrgios is quite comfortably here, up 2-1 and holding his serve. Hagen, Isner serves 54 aces in his first round game. Yeah, I heard about that. What do you think? Who is the better server, Kyrgios or Isner? Good question. I think we have to ask ourselves what makes a good serve, right? Because do you also take into consideration the follow-up shot after your serve in assessing the quality of the serve, or do you just look at the serve, the shot in isolation? If you just look at the shot in isolation, then I would have to say Irios is the Isner. Irios, I just mixed their names. I would say Isner is the better server, as you would then literally look at unreturned points. So then it's probably Isner, I think. But I think if you look at like the serve maybe together with the follow-up shots after that serve, then I think Kyrgios is like stepping up to that debate, and like then the likes of like Federer as well and Sampras. But I think if you look at the serve in isolation, that must be Isner and Karlovic also. MJ going to the gym, enjoy. Art Project, I think she can win, but I really want BB to beat her and take Wimbledon because Canada pride, you know. Who's Coetzer? So Amanda Coetzer, she was a player for South Africa on the women's side. I think it's years ago. Let's see, what year was that? Amanda Coetzer. So she finished in the top 20 for 10 consecutive seasons. That's quite good. And peaked at world number 3. She's now 50 years old. She retired in 2004. All right, no, so that's definitely long before I watched tennis. I'm just saying, actually, looks like Rafa will be playing soon. He's after Iga. So, yes, I think that's correct. Yeah. All right, let's see. Kyrgios returning serve of Jabba the Hutt. Jabba now hits that ball. Oh, that was not long. It's in. He's now at the net. Kyrgios is going to try to pass, and he does. Great pass there by Kyrgios, and it's 30 all. Who's Jabba? Fett. Jabba the Hutt. So don't confuse Jabba the Hutt and Boba Fett. Two different characters. Mike saying Murray's got his work cut out tomorrow with the Isner serve. It's going to be interesting to watch, but I think if there's one player that is going to deal well with the return of Isner, I think Murray is one of the names that do pop up. Kyrgios now stepping in, and is now at the net, but JUBB is able to pass him quite well there, and it's 40-30. Alice Fire saying, no, what you got to realize is that Iga switched rackets last year, and only this year has gotten completely used to it. That's interesting. It's the same way it happened to Federer. Like, he switched rackets in like late 2013, and then it also took him a while to get used to the new rackets. And isn't it the case with Tsitsipas as well? As JUBB was able to hold his serve, and it's 3-2 for JUBB in this fourth set. So I think with Tsitsipas as well, he mentioned in the French Open, like he's still getting used to like something about rackets or something like that. Yeah, so it does seem like it can get used to it. But then, as you state, Alice Fire, as soon as you're getting used to your new rackets, then the results could start showing it. Alex saying, maybe your parents are saying, look, baby, Amanda's on. Maybe. I'll ask them. Neil pointing out that Murray versus Isner head-to-head is 8-love for Murray. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, so I just want to check, actually. I remember they did play at Wimbledon. Murray versus Isner. Wimbledon. It was like 20, if I have to guess, I'm going to say 2015. Let's see. Okay, but now they're just giving me the upcoming match. I'm going to say 2-0. Yeah, I can't remember what year that was. Murray versus Isner. Let's just say head-to-head, and then we'll get their past matches, and then we can look which one was the Wimbledon match. I can't find it. I'm sure, right? They did play at Wimbledon. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Did they not play at Wimbledon? I was so sure. Then it must be Karlovic that he played at Wimbledon a few years ago. Diehard Murray fans, tell me in the chat. Am I losing my mind? Did he never play Isner? Did he then maybe play Karlovic a few years ago? And I'm confusing them? I don't know. Yeah, Mike Sinkutsu was more a 90s player. Sean, maybe if I got a 200-inch square inch racket, I would start to get some wins. Dream Tennis, what time is Cressy? So Cressy FA is just after this match on this court, I think. So whenever this match finishes, Cressy and FAA will start, and that's going to be a mouth-watering exchange. Kyrgios serving at 15-love. And he's serving to the backhand of JUBB. He's able to get that. And Kyrgios now with a big forehand, but JUBB is able to get that ball back as well. Kyrgios now with a forehand to the other side, and JUBB is doing all the running, but Kyrgios is at the net, smashing it away for a winner, and it is 30-love. Alex pointing out Serena plays in about 3 hours. Oh, I can't wait. That's going to be so exciting to see like what level she's going to bring. It's so difficult to predict. Like on the one side, like she's Serena Williams, right? She's going to be fantastic. But she's been away for so long that it's quite difficult to know like what is she going to bring to the table. But I'm definitely looking forward to watch that match, definitely. Colton, nice of you to join the chat. Evening. Yeah, it must be now like what, 12 o'clock in Australia? So well done. You did mention you're not a Kyrgios fan, so interesting to have you here for this coverage. As Kyrgios is able to hold his serve there, and we are at 3 games all. I must say the rallies we've seen throughout this match so far is longer than expected. As we would think like on grass, they would just like serve and unreturn and stuff like that and go for your winners quicker. But it seems like Kyrgios, for some reason, is quite happy to extend the rallies, which I'm not agreeing with the tactic over there, as he's playing doubles as well. I think his stamina is quite important to reserve much of his stamina for later potential matches. Can't think it's 11:30 in Australia. I was close. I think well done for me. Hi, MQ. Oh, welcome back. I assume is the ego match now done? But some of the regulars are suddenly joining my stream. And Devyansh, nice to see you as well. Okay, Mike saying Murray hasn't played Isner at Wimbledon. So then I was mistaken. Let's see. Did he play Karlovic? Murray versus Karlovic. Head to head. Yes, 2015. Okay, so that's what I thought about. I confused Isner and Karlovic, and understandably so. But he faced Karlovic at Wimbledon, and Murray won 7-6, 6-4, 5-7, 6-4. Okay, so Karlovic was actually able to grab a set of that match. Oh, Mike saying Swiatek having trouble in the second set. Okay, that's interesting. Dream Tennis, even if Kyrgios wins this one, wouldn't playing long sets be very detrimental to his chances compared to others? Definitely. Most definitely. I think what does count in his favor a little bit compared to previous years is he actually now played warm-up tournaments. Like last year, he didn't play any tennis at all. And then he was able to beat Humbert in the first round. He beat someone else in the second round and then eventually lost against Felix, but he withdrew mid-match. He actually won the first set against Felix and then had to withdraw. And I think the fact that he didn't play any warm-up tournaments before that, I think also led to him not having stamina. At least now he did play warm-up tournaments. But I think given like his probable lack of fitness schedule that he follows, I'm just assuming, pre-tournament, for him to have enough stamina is going to be very, very important. And also the fact that he is playing doubles as well. I think it's even more important that he does reserve his stamina. So yes, I do think that he needs to finish these points as quick as possible. Neil saying Murray has beaten Isner at the other 3 slams, but never played at Wimbledon. Yeah, so I confirmed that I was thinking of Ivo Karlovic. Also a big, big serve. You could argue even bigger. Having served more aces, right? I think so. Oh, Henry commenting, will that guy whistling every winning shot for Kyrgios please shut up? Also, I'm watching it on mute, so I'm actually not aware of that. But I can think it is quite frustrating and also irritating and distracting. Sean, who could be a good mentor for Kyrgios? Could anyone get through to him? No, I don't think so. I don't know, Kyrgios has said like he works best on his own. He will never have a coach and it will never work regardless of who it is. So, and I don't think he has he doesn't have any it doesn't bother him that he's not like winning Grand Slams or so. Like if he's like knows that, if he gets like this coach and he practices hard, he can win. He's like, well, that's not my goal necessarily. So I don't think it will happen that he will try to get someone that gets through to him. But also, is there someone that will be able to get through to him? I hate to be negative, but I'm going to say no. There won't be. Because I think all these these legends, they have this mentality of you must work your hardest and reap your potential and win. And I don't know if Kyrgios necessarily has that outlook on tennis. Yes, he wants to win a match when he's playing in that match. But in terms of what he wants to achieve with his tennis career, I'm not sure whether he has an answer for that. And when you don't have that answer to start with, then what you can do with a person is quite limited. Neil saying Murray has beaten Dr. Ivo twice at Wimbledon, and he's head-to-head is 7-love. So it's quite interesting. So it's an 8-love head-to-head against Isner and 7-love against Karlovic. That is very, very interesting. So yes, obviously he's very, very comfortable with the big servers. And I think a return of serve is not something that's really going to get worse with age, while running and stuff like that will get worse with age. But the return of serve, if your eyes is still working properly, I don't think Murray will now struggle with the return of serve suddenly, despite his ranking having dropped so far with all his injuries. Sarah saying, with Kyrgios playing doubles, it reduces his chances and his body condition is uncertain. Yeah, I also think so. And I saw in his press conference also, they actually asked him whether he's looking forward to playing doubles. And his honest answer was no, he's not looking forward to it. And he was frustrated that the doubles is best out of 5. Which also shows that he's not really he knows that it's not a good decision and it's best of 5 and so yeah, I do think it reduces his chances, unfortunately. So then you could maybe honestly say if he loses first round doubles, maybe that's a blessing in disguise. Alex, are mental coaches basically psychologists? I think so. What do you think in the chat? Yeah, I would say that's exactly what it is. You have to have some kind of knowledge on how the brain works, right? How your mental state works. You're not just there to say, well done, keep on going. You have to have some kind of expert knowledge on how these things work. So I guess so. Dream Tennis, how much of a factor is it for Kyrgios if the grass are old and losing grass? Yeah, I did touch on this earlier. So I think facing Nadal in round 1 or 2 is something different to facing Nadal in the semifinals. I think if they're facing the semifinals, by that stage, the grass has lost a lot of its, grass. So I think then it loses a lot of the pace. The ball skids less. It bounces a bit higher, which is also then nice for Nadal. So yeah, it definitely has a big effect going forward. And for Kyrgios, that's definitely a negative if the grass starts losing its length. And I've heard Kyrgios complain in the past that Wimbledon is getting so slow. So it'll be interesting to see whether he comments on the court speed in post-match conferences. As I know that Wimbledon is already slower than other grass court tournaments, and then when it deteriorates further, it's even slower. Hi, Miranda. Nice to have you in the chat as well. Yeah, Mike saying the problem with Kyrgios, he doesn't care enough. I think so. And you can't blame him for that. I mean, it's his call. But I think so the limitation, I would maybe use that word, with Kyrgios is that he doesn't care enough that he would then put in that work that would be required. Because, I mean, you can have all the talent in the work, but you can have all the talent in the world, but you still have to put in that work to be the best. Claire saying Kyrgios likes his beer too much. Actually, as far as I know, he doesn't drink anymore. There was a very interesting interview with him that I watched a few days ago, but the interview was already in January. No, it wasn't that long ago. But the interview was a good month or 2 ago, and there he talked about how he changed his life around, and he's not that party animal anymore. For example, I think after the doubles win in Australia, as far as I know, he actually didn't go out afterwards. So I do think he changed that lifestyle around. Dubai saying you're all tripping. If slams were best of 3, which they should be, then Kyrgios would be in the showers right now. All right. Am I a tennis player? I play amateur tennis, not good at all. I do love playing tennis. I enjoy playing it, but I'm not good. I have a one-handed backhand, which is not effective, but I like trying to emulate a Federer oil painting of a backhand. But no, I'm not good. Ooh, MJ saying eager down a break. Interesting. All right, as we are at 30 all, JUBB serving at 4 all, 30 all. A bit of a window of opportunity here for Kyrgios. Let's see, JUBB serving to the forehand of Kyrgios. It's a great return by Kyrgios, but JUBB is able to... Wow, that was beautiful. JUBB just changing the direction of the ball. There was so much pace on the return by Kyrgios that all JUBB had to do was redirect the ball to the other angle. And he did that brilliantly over there. One shot, one pass, serve, one shot, serve, one shot. That was beautiful. 40-30 by JUBB. Second serve. I see there's a bit of a debate regarding whether tennis should be best of 3 or best of 5 on the Grand Slam level. And it's wide there by JUBB. No, it's not. JUBB was able to get that. Sorry, missed that one. And JUBB holds his serve, and it's 5-4 in this 4th set. Alex saying, if Kyrgios had to choose between winning a slam and a mixed doubles run with a hot... Okay. Dream Tennis, Coffee Tennis said Kyrgios cares for us fans. He won't ruin a Nadal final, so he will lose to them. Well, I don't think it's going to go like, I'm going to lose because the fans want them to win. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. And Mike's saying that's why Djokovic and Nadal have great records against big servers. They have great return games. That's true. And Federer as well. Like, I think his return is quite underrated. On serve, there's this one YouTube video where he says like how to return Ivo Karlovic. And then he shows like they also played at Wimbledon. And he was able to like block return, slice return very, very nicely against Karlovic. And also remember that was the match Federer versus Sam Groth. And Sam Groth, he served like extremely big. And Federer was also able to handle that quite well on the grass. Wimbledon is slow and boring, correct? It is becoming slower, and it is quite unfortunate, but I won't say it's boring. It's still grass in the sense that even though it's slower, it's still grass in how you're going to move and how you're going to choose your shot selection, like your slice. It's still skiing low and stuff like that, but it is definitely slower than it was previously, and also slower versus your Halle. As Kyrgios is now hitting a backhand to the forehand now of JUBB, and they're just exchanging rallies in the middle of the court, nobody going any direction. JUBB now changing direction to the forehand. Kyrgios responds to the nice forehand of his own. Kyrgios now with a backhand to the backhand of JUBB. He tries to go down the line, but he hits it wide, and it's first point to Kyrgios on his serve, 15-love. Nice exchange rally over there. Ferroljum asking, with Federer not competing this year, will he ever win it again? So I always have the thing like probable versus possible. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? No. I don't think it's going to happen, but can it happen? Is it possible? Yes, it always will be. But more realistically than not, I don't think he's going to win another Grand Slam. But that's fine. That's fine. As a Federer fan, I'm just going to watch him play and enjoy him play. I don't want to expect too much of him when he returns. Neil, who is the Kyrgios of the GTL podcast? Has the talent but lacks the dedication? I don't know. Interesting question. Lacks the dedication. Well, what would constitute dedication with a podcast? That's a difficult question. Claire saying Kyrgios is satisfied with 30% effort and his results. He's a wealthy man, and that's enough. Yeah. And I think like it seems like he's in a very serious situation with his girlfriend. So I think also like the results that he's able to bring to the table on tennis matters less to his overall life, where he's now starting to become very happy with his personal life, how it's going. So I think probably if you compare that to other players, maybe his performances on tennis is a smaller factor, like to his overall mental well-being. Maybe if he had to win tournaments to become a millionaire, Kyrgios would try harder. I don't know. I don't know whether he's in it for the money necessarily. I don't know. Khaled saying, I think Berrettini would have won Wimbledon if it wasn't for COVID. So obviously he had a very, very good preseason on grass, as we are on 5-all in this fourth set, and we head to the business end of this fourth set. All right, let's see. So yeah, Khaled, as I say, I think Berrettini had a very good run-up to this tournament, winning Stuttgart and Queens. That being said, maybe the level of competition he faced wasn't like top tier. But I also think what even though like I think he played so well and he's also so good on grass, I think the matchup against Nadal is very bad for him, because as we know, like Berrettini's biggest weakness is his backhand, and I think Nadal, being the lefty with his topspin, he can exploit that backhand like with an insane amount. And I think that's exactly what he did in the Australian Open this year we saw. So yes, even though Berrettini had a very good grass score preseason, and yes, he's very good on grass, I think Nadal, the matchup would have been a problem for him in the semifinals. as JUBB is now heading to the backhand of Kyrgios, and he's now a bit out of position, but Kyrgios doesn't decide to exploit that. Kyrgios is just hitting it very safe, I feel like, at this stage. JUBB is hitting that ball long, and it's 15 all. Oh, thank you very much. If you're referring to me, maybe you're talking about someone else in the chat. But thank you. MJ saying coffee break tennis, Matt has disappeared. Really? Like, when is the last time he uploaded something? I know he doesn't post often. Which is a pity because I always enjoy watching his coverage. Yeah, Dubai saying Agassi was one of the best returners ever, definitely. And especially you have to consider, like, in his time, he had to return serves on surfaces that were much faster than the surfaces we have today. JUBB serving at 15-30, and it's a fault, and it's a bit of a window of opportunity here for Kyrgios. Yeah, Jared asking, has Nick complained about the slowness during this match? It's a very good question, because in the past he has done it during matches. Like, I remember him saying last year, like, it's so slow, it's so slow. I haven't heard him complain about it, but the only reason for that is I'm watching it on mute. So it's possible that he does, but I haven't heard him done that. But yeah, if he hasn't, it will be interesting to see whether they ask him in the post-match presentation, post-match comments, what do you call it? I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see whether they ask him about the speed court and what's his opinion on how he feels the court is playing. I'm just asking, using the Petra match. Unfortunately, I'm not sure at this stage. I say Haman, Neil. I'm not following. I'm not sure what you're referring to yet, but okay. As JUBB is now serving at 40-30. Thank you for everybody tuning in here. We are 242 people here live enjoying this coverage. If you like this coverage, consider hitting the like button on this video below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. As JUBB is now double fault, and we're back to deuce. JUBB in a bit of a trouble here at 5 all, 40 all in this fourth set. Let's see, JUBB serving at deuce. He serves to the forehand. It was odd. It was like a body serve, and Kyrgios was not in position there. Advantage, JUBB. Kirila Sayon saying, I was watching a Kyrgios match on Bean Sports, and I thought the whole time it was this match. It was a replay from a while ago. That's hilarious. Dream Tennis saying Federer got 300 million from Uniqlo, so he will play again. Well, it was interesting. It will be interesting to see whether there's like a clause that he still has to play for years to come in order to get that money. I don't think it's necessarily the case. And I still think, ironically, Federer, even if he doesn't play, is still an asset for his sponsors because of like his legacy. MJ saying, okay, coffee break tennis drops by 1 podcast a week. Yeah, I wonder what's going on there. Yeah, MJ saying you did it once as well, like watching a live match, but then in the end it was like a replay of a different match. I know, like a lot of these, like they will have like live on YouTube, and then when you go on like the live coverage, then obviously it's not really live because that will be illegal. But then sometimes they show like a PlayStation match or something. Then it's like an animation. So I wonder whether it happened. Hopefully not, like where you watch the PlayStation match thinking that's a real one. I guess surely not. It's just an interesting scenario in my head. Hey, G, nice to have you in the chat as well. Dubai saying people don't like Kyrgios because he presents a different narrative for work-life balance. Maybe the problem is we tennis fans and our unwillingness to accommodate alternative definitions of success. Well, yep, I agree with that, but I also agree with people who say, well, yeah, you can have a different balance, but still be respectful, like not break chairs, not stuff like that. So, but I agree with that I think people are unfair to him when they say something like, oh, he has so much potential and he could have won. Like, I agree with it. Like, we maybe we should, as you say, redefine like that you can have another type of work-life balance than your other opponents, but I think you can still be like respectful in the way you do it. Gene asking, how am I doing? I'm doing fantastic. I'm a bit disappointed, like with Cilic and Berrettini withdrawing. That, I mean, the effect that has on the draw, it's just, you want your best players there. I mean, now we have 5 of the top 20 not playing either due to illness or injury or being banned. So that's quite a pity, I must say, and it is a bit of a damper to the remainder of the Wimbledon draw, to be honest. Kyrgios now serving to force a tiebreak. It's 15-love. That's another ace by Kyrgios, and it's 30-love. Oh, Dubai saying Goffin 3 in straight sets. Okay, that's interesting. I think a Goffin and Casper Ruud matchup could be interesting. Goffin has had good results on grass before. I know he made the final in Halle once. So maybe. I was disappointed with Goffin in Halle this year because he lost in the first round already. Okay, it was against Daniel Medvedev, but it was straight sets. I hope that Goffin would be able to do more in Halle, but he was not able to. 40-love for Kyrgios. 1 point away from forcing it to a tiebreak. And let's go, Jabba the Hutt. Make the palace proud. On Tatooine. Oh, tiebreak. Sorry, I missed that. That must have been a big, quick serve. And we are heading to a tiebreak for this 4th set. And JUBB is able to hold his serve on the first point. Tell me in the chat below, what is your predictions for the tiebreak? Who's going to take it and what is the score going to be? I'd love to hear who you think is going to take this tiebreak, as Nix is able to hold his point as well, 1-1. And while you're down there commenting, who do you think is going to win it? Hit a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. All right, let's see. Kyrgios serving at 1 point all in this tiebreak. As a fault, second serve. He serves to the back end of JUBB. Kyrgios now with a big forehand to the forehand of JUBB. And Kyrgios is now retreating back to the baseline. And JUBB is able to get the mini break there. Big hitting there by JUBB. Kyrgios was stepping in and it was a bit out of position there. It's 2-1 for JUBB. Mini break. And I feel like, the one of the shots for Kyrgios just didn't go deep enough. And JUBB was able to step in and go for a big forehand. Mini break. Let's see in the chat, what are your predictions? We've got Keeper saying 7-4 for Kyrgios. Leighton also saying Kyrgios 7-4. MJ going for JUBB. Interesting, 7-4. Devin goes for Nick 7-3. We have Gene going for 7-5 for JUBB. All right, so we're going to a 5-setter, it seems like some of you think. We have MQR going for Jabba the Hutt 7-5. And we have JUBB 11-9. And Dubai also going for JUBB 7-4. Interesting, and Alice Fire also going for JUBB with point penalty. Let's see. JUBB is now 3-1 in this tiebreak. Oh, that's a great forehand down the line by JUBB, but JUBB hits that next ball long, and it's 3-2, and we are back on serve on this tiebreak. Leighton asking, do I like Kyrgios? Yes, I do. I'm a big fan of Kyrgios. I think he's so entertaining to watch. So yes, I'm a big fan of Kyrgios, and to be honest, I will be rooting for him throughout this match and also throughout this tournament. I think if he can beat Tsitsipas and Batista are good, and then it looks like he will then face like an Alex de Minaur in the quarterfinal with Berrettini now having withdrawn. So I mean, a Nadal Kyrgios semi-final would just be insane. As Kyrgios is now serving to the backhand of JUBB, Kyrgios stepping in with a backhand, JUBB going for a backhand slice. Kyrgios now forced to retreat to the baseline. That's a great slice down the line there by JUBB. Kyrgios is able to get there, and Kyrgios tries to go for a big forehand down the line, but he hits it long. And it's point for Kyrgios, 3 points all, and they will now exchange ends. MJ saying, Neil asked who the Kyrgios of the GTL game is, and I'm saying you're saying it's me. You podcast the least. Yes, I don't do it very often, eh? Megan is like the Nadal. All right. Leighton saying if Kyrgios keeps his cool, he can win it. Yep, and it's difficult to keep a cool in a tiebreak because 1 point can have such a massive outcome on the result. Dubai is saying you have a good point with being respectful, but our respect is defined depends a lot on culture. I agree, but I doubt anyone would agree that like smashing chairs and such is respectful behavior, regardless of your culture. Right, but yeah, I agree. Like that maybe like with regards to like your like being honest in an interview and such is also a bit of a fresh air. Like Medvedev, I love Medvedev interviews because he's always so honest and fresh about his opinions on stuff. Well, I think the big three maybe is more like, like playing it safe. And Kyrgios is serving and he hits that serve wide, second serve. Marty's saying, so no ATP points, doesn't really matter. Sure for the legacy, but nothing else. Yeah, well, isn't legacy the most important factor in the end? As JUBB is able to get the mini break there, it's a bit of a loose shot there by Kyrgios, and it's 4-3 now for JUBB. All right, let's see. JUBB now, Kyrgios now serving, and Kyrgios hits another one long. Kyrgios hits another one long, and it's 2 mini breaks, and Kyrgios is losing his cool against the crowd. And it's 5-3, and it's 2 points away from JUBB on his serve to take this 4th set. Are we going to a final set in the 5th? And JUBB is serving then as a fault, second serve. Serving to the forehand, and Kyrgios tries to smash that for a big winner. He smashes that in the net, and it's 6-3 for JUBB. Looks like we're going to a decider. Kyrgios serving 3-6. And he serves to it's a fault, second serve. Set points for JUBB. He serves the forehand of JUBB. And Kyrgios hits that long. And it's the set for JUBB. And we're going to a decider. Can you believe it? Who predicted this? We're going to a 5th set. And it's possible that Kyrgios might be falling out on Wimbledon. JUBB takes the tiebreak in this 4th set. And we're going to the decider. Drama. What is Wimbledon without drama? Kyrgios is complaining to the umpire. Classic Nick. I'm not sure what about. My audio is muted, but tell me in the chat if you know, like, what is he now finding to complain about? Well. Let's look at the chat. What do you think about this? Kyrgios losing that 4th set. He looked comfortable after losing that 1st set. And then suddenly now we're going to a deciding set. Jared saying, one of these players will make the quarterfinal. De Minaur, Diego, Draper, Brooksby, Bonzi. That's just insane. Can you believe it? Swiatek wins and hands out another bagel. Oh, wow. Capricorn, nice to have you in the chat again. That's interesting. Schwantek. Is that correct, more or less? Oh, sorry, I got a lot bit of lost there in the chat. Let's scroll back. SJ, why is Nick good on the court, on serve, and in shortened shots, but he will never be number one? Well, to be number one, you have to win a lot of tournaments consecutively. And to do that, you have to have stamina and focus. And to do that, you have to practice very hard on that aspect. And I don't just think he has the will to do that. So on a given day, he can beat anyone in the world, but not consistently throughout a tournament. That's the problem. Dubai, regarding smashing chairs. I grew up watching WWF style wrestling. Smashing chairs is cool. A bit of who was your favorite wrestler, Dubai? Tell me. Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker. My favorite was Rey Mysterio in the days of SmackDown. Yeah. Neil pointing out, though, WWF is an entertainment show, not a sport. Yeah, it's like saying, like, yeah, people get shot on James Bond. As Neil points out, it's not the same, really. Mike saying, oh no, Nick Kyrgios is losing. What a surprise. Is that sarcasm? I assume it is. Or is it not? I read it in a sarcastic voice. Maybe you're not sarcastic. Yeah, maybe you're not sarcastic. I decided to read it out in a sarcastic voice, but maybe you were serious. All right, Nick serving, and he's already in a bit of a trouble at 15:30. Hi, Snail. Nice to have you in the chat as well. And thank you, everybody, for joining. Gene saying, sorry, Aman. Well, oh, because he said take out the Aussie trash. I'm a big fan of Nick. All right, and Nick is serving at 15:40. 2 break point opportunities now for JUBB, as he had a beautiful backhand down the line. Nick serving at 15:40. It's a big serve. And now Nick is stepping in. JUBB will try to pass. Nick now with a volley. And he's now at the net. He's going to smash it away for a winner. And Nick saves 1 break point. It is 30-40. It was almost a very dangerous volley there by Kyrgios, as the volley almost went long. But he was able to get that volley away. And it's 30-40. Nick serving. Fault. Second serve. I do apologize. My stream is giving a bit of issues here at the moment. Let's hope it. But I can see on the score, it seems like Nick was able to save that breakpoint, and the stream is back. Deuce. Nick serving, and as he saves 2 crucial breakpoints. Nick now with a backhand on the line. And what's frustrating there, and sorry to commentate on Matt Morelli, but he stepped into the court and then he retreated. And that's not something I want to see. Like, when you step into the court, commit, go to the net, but he retreated back to the baseline. Kyrgios now advantage, fault, second serve. Mark is saying, I think, unfortunately, if it isn't one of the big 3 or maybe Murray, the legacy aspect won't matter. For example, if Kyrgios wins this year, I think it will always have an asterisk next to it. Okay, interesting point of view. I won't see it like that. I think if Kyrgios wins it, I mean, the headlines that would generate would be insane. Especially if he, like, beats one of the big 3, like getting there, right? If he beats Nadal and Djokovic, winning a Grand Slam, that will be massive headlines. It will definitely not have an asterisk if you beat both of them, I think. Sorry, I'm just a bit behind in the chat. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, yeah, a lot of chats behind. I'll get there, don't worry. But it's going to take... I lost my place now. Okay, let's see. But thanks for all the participation in the chat. It is interesting. Like this video if you are enjoying this communal watch of JUBB versus Kyrgios. Gary, nice to have you. Had to check in and say hello. It's still early here in Florida, so it looks like I've been missing a good one. Well, it's good in terms of the scoreline. In terms of the quality, I won't necessarily say it's been like top tennis, really. I'm a bit disappointed with how Nick is like playing rallies instead of trying to shorten the points, but it is interesting to watch in terms of the scoreline, definitely. Dream Tennis saying Marty team won the US Open and doesn't have an asterisk because Noel got defaulted. Yeah, that was such a horrible final, the team versus Zverev match. The quality was just shocking. Oh, and Snail noting that the Venus record is now broken with the consecutive matches, 36 consecutive wins by Iga Swiatek, meaning that she wins or defeats the record previously then held by Venus Williams. So well done to Iga. Oh, talking about WWE, Undertaker and Kane was my vintage. Oh, the old school Kane, he was insane. And then it's just unfortunate what they did to his character. Like, he became so soft. But yeah, Kane in the beginning with his mask was extremely intimidating. And I would actually also say the period just after he took his mask off was also quite intimidating. But then later he became so soft, especially like corporate Kane. That was just ridiculous. Gene liking my sarcasm. Thank you very much. Alex saying, if you look at Kyrgios' stats, he was mentally more stable aged 19 to 20 when he reached 2 quarterfinals. Yeah, that is interesting. Well, I think like 2019 was his best. Didn't he like win like that when he won Acapulco? I think that was 2019, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember now. But that was quite impressive. And I think that shows also a lot of mental stableness, beating Nadal in a tournament, as well as like Wawrinka and other names that I can't remember now on top of my head. Yeah, Capricorn saying like Nick is in flames and it's everybody else's fault. Art Project saying, to be fair, you can always put an asterisk next to championship major title. That's true. That's true. Like, yeah, I think there's a good. I think the best example of asterisks would be like when you play a final and then the opponent gets injured and withdraws. When the opponent led, I think then it's fair to say asterisks. But I think otherwise, not really. I mean, as Art Project says, you can always have an asterisk because the draw doesn't plan out like it would have, etc., etc. Yeah, Almina also saying I'm not into this whole asterisk debates. Winning a slam is winning a slam. Yeah, and it's the same with like this weak era debate. I don't go into that. Jared saying whenever Armin is doing a play-by-play, the match is guaranteed a 5-setter. It seems like that, eh? Even if it's like Zapata Morales against Zverev, which went 5 sets. No, it didn't. Did it? I can't remember. I remember like Alcaraz versus Ramos Vinolas. That was a 5-setter, I think. I don't know. My mind is playing with me. I can't remember. But it seems like it's always 5-setters when I'm commentating. Z76 Bar saying Kyrgios will win. Turn protection, who do I think will win? Well, this match, I do think Kyrgios will pull this through. I do think so. Dream Tennis. How many is the Kyrgios of GTL? Cares less for tennis, but answers all of our chat questions. Iga has now matched Monica Seles' best win streak of 36 and 1 match away from Hingis, 37. Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought Venus had the record in total. So are you saying that she just surpassed Venus, but she's not at the top yet because that belongs to Monica Seles? Oh, no. Monica Seles is then, according to your message, second, and Hingis is first with 37. All right. There's a new Kane. Well, I'm not sure whether that's still the case, but I remember there was like a corporate Kane. It's the same character. It's the same, like, what's his name? I can't remember the actor's name. I can't remember. But he's also like a governor, right? Somewhere in America. But yeah, they messed up his character completely. Snail saying, my favorite was The Rock, but my favorite moves were Rey Mysterio 619. Yeah, that was the best. Booyaka Booyaka 619. And Undertaker's Tombstone. ARB Tennis, even if Kyrgios wins this 5th set, it has been nice to see JUBB get his breakthrough into the big stage and rise through the ranks since he won the NCAA championship. Okay, I didn't know anything about JUBB actually coming into this match. So it's interesting to know that you say that he's won a championship before this. Yeah, I think like definitely now people will remember his name even if he loses this match. Okay, Jared saying the seeds left on Djokovic's side of draw: Kecmanovic, Basilashvili, Opelka, Isner, Sinner, Otte, Alcaraz, Ruud, Bias, Tifo. Cakewalk match. Well, what we have to remember is that you can't just look at your side of the draw and look at like the quality of the players overall, because you're not going to face all of them. You have to look at like the potential players you're going to face, because some of them are going to eliminate each other before they get to the point of facing you. So you have to look at that. And when you look at that, then I would say it's more insane looking at like Nadal and seeing like his 4th round opponent, Cilic, is not there. And his semi-final opponent, Berrettini, is not there either. So you have to look at like, the specific players you are poised to face. And it will be interesting to see whether also Felix Auger-Aliassime maybe is an upset today, maybe against Cressy. That's entirely possible. And then Nadal will also not face him then in the quarterfinals. Oh, so Carlton saying Venus was the longest since the year 2000. All right. The highest is Navratilova, 71 matches. All right. I didn't know that. That's insane. Wow. Yeah, that's going to be difficult to match. Definitely. Okay, so Neil confirming the Venus was just a record post 2000. All right, so that's probably why I thought Venus, because I remember a statistic like that on TV, but then that was probably like a post 2000 record. Almenia saying Otte is the chosen one. I assume the chosen one for you to take out Djokovic is in Djokovic's section. Let's say saying classic Nick meltdown. Yeah, I guess that's what's going to happen when you have a 5-setter with Nick that is close. MQR saying Iga can reach the second week for an 8th time in a row. She's very consistent. Yeah, that is very. And isn't she also? I think she's a junior Wimbledon champion, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Navratilova was a beast on a day, especially at Wimbledon. Just insane. Leighton, who do you think is the GOAT of male tennis? Yeah, so I did touch on this, and according to me, it is Djokovic. Dubai going for a Rod Laver. Interesting take, yeah. It is difficult to compare different eras to each other. JUBB serving at 30 love. And now 40 love. And it's a comfortable hold there by JUBB. And it's 2 games all in the 5th and deciding set. Sorry, I'm just having a problem with my stream here again at the moment, as I have the audio, but I can't see any of the visual So apologies if I'm not commenting like exactly what's happening at this stage. Dubai saying Djokovic definitely had better competition. Maybe you're changing my mind. So I'm basing it on like, and I know people in the chat said that that's not like a good statistical calculator, but there is this thing called the GOAT calculator. So if you go to Google and you say tennis GOAT calculator, it will take you to ultimate tennis statistics. And there they have a website where they use the GOAT. And according to that calculation, it is Novak Djokovic. So for me, then statistically, objectively, without putting your emotions into the debate, it is Novak Djokovic. Our project say many acceptable answers for male GOAT. I can even see people say Sampras, considering he inspired the current big three. Yeah, if you go and start to incorporate such type of aspects that are difficult to quantify. So I'm also just going to try to fix my stream here. All right, let's see. Sorry, it's just currently displaying black. Just trying to fix this quickly. Tennis Forever saying, I think Nadal is way better than Novak. He's off target. It's lines judges. So yeah, well, go to the website if you're interested to see how they determine the variables to determine the GOAT. You can see it over there. And we're on deuce at 2 games all. Bit of a window here for JUBB to break through. And then my visuals is back. Fantastic. As Kyrgios is serving at deuce. And JUBB is not able to return that. And it's advantage for Nick Kyrgios. Can he keep his composure and take it to the very end? Or will he melt down and just give up? That will be unfortunate to see from a neutral perspective. Kyrgios serving advantage. He serves a fault. Second serve. Kyrgios is not happy, but that's nothing new. Let's see. He serves to the backhand of JUBB, and Kyrgios hits that ball long, and we're back to deuce. We have a question of Arthur Rocher asking, do you think Novak will win a major this year? All right, so this year, and given the fact that he probably will not be allowed to enter USA, you mean then the question then translates to, do you think he will win Wimbledon, right? And I think the answer is yes. I think he is favorite. So yes, there you got it. I think the answer is yes. And there's a double fault there by JUBB, and he has advantage and has a break points opportunity here against the serving of Kyrgios. And Kyrgios is starting to get very frustrated with the crowd, as it seems like the crowd is cheering for JUBB. Obviously, they will. He's the local player. He serves big to the backhand. Kyrgios is now getting in, and JUBB is going for the passing shot, but it goes long. Big opportunity there for JUBB, but Kyrgios survives, and we're back to deuce. Dubai asking, didn't US Open change the COVID policy? No, so as far as I know, it's not a US Open policy. It's a policy for the country. And the country is saying that you may not enter the country if you're unvaccinated. And then the US Open said in the statement recently, they're not going to try and ask for exemptions for Novak. So as it stands, he may not enter the country. So it's not a tournament thing. It's a government thing, if I'm correct. Advantage for Kyrgios. Kyrgios serves big, and he serves an ace, and he survives through that service game. And it's 3-2 for Nick Kyrgios, and he leads in this 5th and final set.
When I step out on the court getting furious, all the people come to see me cause they're curious. You'll be eating up these aces, I'm victorious. Don't be questioning my mind, it's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios.
King Kyrgios is leading in this 5th set. There was a window of opportunity there, break points opportunity for JUBB, which he was not able to capitalize. If you look here at the stats, with the last line item there on the scoreboard, breakpoint save, it says 8 out of 9 for Kyrgios. And then when you translate that to breakpoints converted, it means that JUBB was only able to convert 1 of his 9 breakpoints opportunities. So there were a lot of opportunities for JUBB to break through, but he wasn't really able to capitalize on many of them. But as you would expect, I mean, on grass with Nick Kyrgios' serve, it is going to be a bit more difficult than usual. Dream Tennis asking, the question is, against an alien tennis player, who would you pick to play to save Earth? And for me, that's very surface dependent. If it's on clay, then it's without a doubt Rafael Nadal. If it's like another surface, then I would pick Djokovic. If it's going to be like a random generator where they pick a surface by random, but I have to choose my opponent beforehand or my player, I would pick Novak Djokovic. So Neil arguing about like the competition they faced. Also, Murray's injury reduced competition for Djokovic and Wawrinka as well. He has done amazingly well, but there are reasons Roger and Rafa are the most loved. So my problem with that, and I'm a big Roger fan, but I think we should be careful of bringing into arguments of like being popular and stuff like that. Like that's not very objective. But I mean, the GOAT debate, the GOAT calculator does take into account the quality of the opponents that you face, because it takes into consideration your ELO ranking, which is a ranking where it takes into account the ranking of the opponents that you faced in getting your victories. Yeah, so Dubai is saying the reasons Rafa and Roger are loved is 100% a cultural thing. It's not about play. Yeah, and that's also, but then previously I brought up like we're talking about the greatest of all time. And is there maybe a difference between the greatest of all time and the best of all time? Because greatest can then maybe imply that you do incorporate such other factors, which is not really statistically relevant to winning, but it makes you great and not necessarily the best. Up for debate. Sean saying Federal fans want a new calculator. No, I respect the calculator entirely. Like I agree with how it's set up. So I'm a Federer fan, and Federer was the GOAT according to the calculator for a while, and then Djokovic did surpass him over there. And I am willing to admit that for me, despite being a Federer fan, Djokovic is the GOAT calculator. And Kyrgios has 2 breakpoints opportunities here as he went for the backhand passing shot, which was successful. 2 breakpoint opportunities. Wow, he faced the breakpoints opportunity in the previous game, and now suddenly he has breakpoints opportunities on the serve of JUBB, and he has 2 breakpoint opportunities. Let's see whether he can capitalize on any of them. JUBB is serving at 1540 to the forehand of Kyrgios, who goes for a block return. Kyrgios will now try to pass. JUBB is at the net, and the slice by JUBB at the net goes wide, and Kyrgios is able to break, and he leads the final decider set 4-2. Wow. So Kyrgios was facing a break point in the previous game. He saved the break point, and then he was able to break in the next game, and it leads 4-2. And I think now probably it does look like it will be a comfortable final victory for Nick Kyrgios. But let's see. Yeah, Dream Tennis saying Kyrgios will win now. Most probably that is the outcome we will going to see. Dubai saying, wow, Kyrgios showing some grit. Yeah. I think for his standards, he's quite calm. 15 love, Kyrgios. Big serve to the backhand of JUBB, who is able to return it. Kyrgios now with a forehand, which goes long, though, 15 all. Thank you for joining me for this coverage as we see whether Kyrgios can pull this through at the end or not. Hit the like button on this video if you are enjoying this coverage. 15 all. Big serve, but it's in the net. Second serve. Oh, that's a good, Kyrgios now with a backhand slice in the net. It was a good kick serve there by Kyrgios. JUBB was able to get that back, and then Kyrgios went for a slice in the net. And it's a bit of a window of opportunity here again for JUBB, as it's now 15-30. Dream 10 is saying, well, for me, with regards to you should face the alien, it's the best problem solver. Interesting point to that, the problem solver thing. And I'm not saying it's the only thing that should matter, but it's an interesting thing to consider. Is look at when they had blue clay in Madrid in 2012. The surface was very different to what they usually play on. So it was quite a unique surface. And who won? Federer won, and Serena won on the women's side. So I'm not saying, therefore, they are the best problem solvers, but it is an indication of being able to solve a problem when the surroundings or the atmosphere, whatever, is not what you're usually used to. And I assume when you're playing an alien, it will not be what you're used to. And Nick is fired up as he's able to take that game in the end. It looked shaky, but he is able with his big serve to take it away. And he leads in the fourth set, 5-2, 1 game away from taking the match.
When I step out on the court getting furious, all the people come to see me cause they're curious. You'll be eating up these aces, I'm victorious. Don't be questioning my mind. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios.
All right, and he is 1 game away from taking this match, and he's fired up, which is nice to see that he cares a lot. And hopefully, from a Kyrgios perspective, it means that he won't choke to such an extent that he loses it from this position. Hey, Gary. Yes, I did say hello the first time that you said that as well. Nice to have you here. It was a good match in the sense of the score line. I would say in terms of quality, it probably wasn't the highest quality of match. I think Kyrgios played it too safe throughout the match, like having rallies in the middle of the court, not really trying to shorten the points, which I think he has to do if he wants to get far into the tournament. So quality-wise, maybe not the best, but in terms of scoreline and drama, definitely exciting. Yes, why can't we watch the match? Because it's illegal. We can't show you the visuals of the match. It's not allowed according to copyright. JUBB serving 2-5. And he serves the forehand of Kyrgios. It goes a hard return there by Kyrgios. JUBB is not able to handle that pace, and it's love 15. Yeah, so we have Mike saying Federer benefited from a weaker era. And then we have Liam. Hi, Liam. Nice to have you in the chat. Federer won 12 Grand Slams after the first slam final against Nadal. Yeah, so the thing is that Go Calculator does take the era into account. It does take into account the quality of your opponents. And according to that calculator, Federer is second and Nadal third. But I mean, weak era. Yeah, it's the same that they said previously, like with asterisks to Grand Slams. I don't buy the weak era thing. Because when is it a weak era, or when is it just that you are so good that you make the others look weak? Danny's saying he hits too many errors today. I think rally tactics suits better for his game. Well, the thing is, if he wants to win this tournament, then you can't really afford to exchange rallies because his stamina will not allow it. So I feel like, yes, it's maybe more risky to go for short points and then lose more points, but it's either that or, go for all or nothing. So also considering the fact that he's playing doubles as well, I think for his stamina, if he wants to try and win this tournament, and this is quite a good opportunity looking at how the draw is planning out to be, then he can't afford to stay this long on court. JUBB serves to the backhand of Kyrgios. Now JUBB with the forehand to the forehand of Kyrgios. Oh, that's a big forehand winner there by Kyrgios. And it's 40-30. Oh, Dream Tennis saying Rooney Thou in a set. That's interesting. Freedom asking, where did I get the King Kyrgios song? So it's created by one of the founders of Game to Love. So the founders of Game to Love, this channel, is Ben and JG. And Ben creates all the songs. So there are songs for all the players on this channel. And that is the Kyrgios one. But welcome to the channel, Freedom Obina. If you like it, consider hitting a like button and subscribe to the channel for further coverage coming your way throughout this tournament. Right, let's see. Kyrgios serving for the match. Fault, second serve. To the backhand of JUBB, who's not able to return that ball. 15 love. Can Nick focus and pull this through? Yeah, so Sean saying one could argue Djokovic has benefited from a weak era in the last few years by the token old Federer, half-injured Nadal, injured Murray, and a weak-minded next gen. Exactly. And I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying like you can argue weak generation like everywhere. And so, I don't buy the weak era thing. Dwight doesn't do have a JUBB song? I do not. I don't have a JUBB song. JUBB from Tatooine. Dubai is saying the first week slam is so exciting. Great matches all around. I feel like that dog from Squirrel. It is fun to see all these matchups. Fault, second serve. Yas asking, why is the game between Dimitrov and Johnson cancelled? Dimitrov had to withdraw due to a groin injury. Oh, and it's a double fault by Nick. In the net, and it's 15-30. Are we in for a surprise? Neil saying interesting about this GOAT calculator, and that is up to date. So even with Nadal having 2 more slams, it still says Djokovic. Yes, because it takes into consideration your slams, but it's not the only thing. Take an example, right? Okay, let's just see here. Nick hitting to the backhand of JUBB, who goes for a slice. Nick running in. JUBB now with a forehand, and Nick is not in position for that ball. And it's 15-40, and it's 2 break back opportunities for JUBB. Can you believe it? Nick was in no man's land there. He stepped into the court, and then he was just not in position for the next ball. Now, note here that JUBB has only converted 1 out of his 9 presented break points. Can Nick save another one? And he's telling the crowd they are the worst, Kyrgios. 15-40. Big serve to the forehand of JUBB, but as a good return, Kyrgios is able to get that. JUBB now with a slice, Kyrgios with a forehand, JUBB with a backhand, and now JUBB goes long. JUBB goes long. It's a breakpoint save for Kyrgios, which is lucky considering that was a very, very good return there by JUBB initially. Kyrgios was able to get that one through, and it's 1 breakpoint save, but there's another breakpoint opportunity for JUBB. Nick serving at 30-40. And it's an ace. That's an ace. And it's another breakpoint saved. Wow. Nick has now saved 10 out of 11 breakpoints. That is just insane with that big of a serve. And he screams, let's go, Nick, after he hit that ace. And we're back to deuce. And there's a B close to Nick's neck. And he serves at deuce to the forehand of JUBB. JUBB now with a forehand to the forehand of Kyrgios. He goes for a drop shot, but it's quite a weak one. And JUBB is able to respond with a drop shot of his own. Nick went for a drop shot while standing behind the baseline. And JUBB was able to get there and respond with a drop shot of his own. And it's once again advantage JUBB. Another breakpoint opportunity. Another breakpoint opportunity for JUBB. Big serve there by Kyrgios. Kyrgios now with a backhand in the net. Kyrgios with a backhand in the net. And we are back on serve. JUBB is able to break back. Kyrgios not able to serve for the match. And he breaks and it's back on serve at 4-5. Can you believe it? How will Nick react to this afterwards? We are back on serve. This match is not over. Stay with me until the very end. Hit the like button on this video and together we will see what will happen. That's the thing, we just never know because sport does not have a script. Anything can happen. How will Nick keep his composure? How will the crowd affect him? And he's already going to the service line, Nick. He doesn't want to sit around. Sherivan, I just found this channel. Good content. Thank you very much, Sherivan. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Please then consider subscribing to this channel for more content coming your way by Game to Love throughout this Wimbledon and also other tournaments coming your way. TSS Srinivas, when will Federer play his next match? He will play his next match at the Laver Cup. Big return there by Kyrgios. JUBB is not able to handle that ball in slot 15. Can Kyrgios maybe get the break back immediately and not require of him to serve for the match again later? Because if Kyrgios is able to break here, then the match is done. Dubai asking, saying, did he really say the crowd was the worst? I think that's what he said. I might be wrong, but that's what I heard. Let's see, JUBB with a big forehand there. Nothing Kyrgios can do about that, and it's 15 all. Big serve there by JUBB. Kyrgios is not able to do anything on that return, and it's 30-15. Big serve there by JUBB. Kyrgios now is going to step in. And, Kyrgios hits a long. He was such a good position there. And it's 40-15 for JUBB. Oh, Dubai saying, gotta close this out, Nick. And he doesn't. Second serve for JUBB on 40-15. He says, the backhand of Nick. Ooh, and JUBB is there on the stretch. Nick now with a drop shot. JUBB is able to get there, though. Nick is now going to go for a lob, but JUBB is there at the net, smashes it away for a winner. And it's 5 games all. 5 games all in this final deciding set. Sure. And this could go any way. This could go any way. Will saying that JUBB will win this one. Tell me in the chat, who do you think is going to take this one away? We are at 5 games all. Anything can happen. JUBB there with a backhand to the backhand of Kyrgios. And now Kyrgios with a big forehand in the net, though. And it's love 15. It's love 15, and I'm scared. I'm scared that the crowd is going to frustrate Nick to such an extent that he just... And it's a slice there by JUBB in the net, and it's 15 all. All right, let's see. $30-15. Big serve there to the forehand of JUBB. Kyrgios with a beautiful backhand down the line winner. And it's 40-15. And he wants to go to the next serve point immediately. Oh, that's a beautiful backhand down the line. It looks awkward, as always Kyrgios' backhands do, but very efficient. And it's 40-30. JUBB with a forehand now to the forehand of Nick, who goes for a forehand slice. JUBB in control of this rally. Nick goes for the forehand down the line with topspin, and it works. JUBB now with a big forehand for a winner. JUBB is that for a winner. And then back to deuce. That was a big forehand winner there by JUBB, and it's deuce, and Nick is in a bit of a trouble here. Wow, wow, wow. Martin saying, what a big game. JUBB deserves a better ATP rank. And JUBB's returning Nick very well there. Ooh, and JUBB was able to get the ball so deep on the line, and Kyrgios mishits it. Kyrgios mishits it, and it's advantage for JUBB. But he's challenging. He's challenging. But it's in. It's in, and is the point to JUBB. And it's advantage, break points opportunity for JUBB. The done saying, need those aces now, Nick. He definitely does. Nick serving big, and JUBB returns it in the net, and we're back to deuce. We're back to deuce. Break point saved there by Kyrgios with his big serve. Dream Tennis saying, now I want JUBB to win. Very disappointing by Nick. And it's an ace by Kyrgios. Advantage, Nick Kyrgios. And it's another ace by Kyrgios, and he takes the game, and he survives. And that was not comfortable, but he does survive. In the end, his big serve takes him out of that game. And he leads 6-5, and he's 1 game away from taking this match once again.
When I step out on the court getting furious, all the people come to see me cause they're curious. You'll be eating up these aces, I'm victorious. Don't be questioning my mind, it's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios.
The self-proclaimed king, Nick Kyrgios, also self-proclaimed top 5 tennis player on grass. And therefore, I agree with Liam when he says if Kyrgios goes out here, it's really embarrassing. And it really would be. Duarte saying Nick loves losing against low ranks. Yeah, I almost get the feeling like he does better against like a big 3 opponent than these lower ranked players, because he's just then more motivated, it seems like. Yeah, James saying he had such an advance on this 5th set, quite disappointing even if he wins. Yeah, it was like 5-2, I think, at one stage. Sorry, just getting my visuals back again. It went black. Yeah, Mike saying Kyrgios. There we go. Great stuff. Can't see the visuals. Nick serving there. JUBB serving there. And Mike saying Kyrgios surviving on his serve. And that is true. That's exactly, I think, what's happening here. Kyrgios shanks that in, but JUBB will put it away for a winner. And it's 15 all. All right, let's see. JUBB serving at 15 all to the forehand of Nick. It's a good return. And JUBB hits that wide, and it's 15-30. Do you smell that? It's a window of opportunity here for Nick Kyrgios. That's what it is. 2 points away from taking this match. All right, JUBB serving at 15:30 to the backhand of Nick, and it's a great deep return. Kyrgios now with a forehand to the backhand of JUBB. There's a scoop backhand here by Kyrgios, and he's rallying, not really going for the winner, just waiting for JUBB to make the error, which is unlike Nick. Just playing it very safe at the moment. Slice by JUBB. It's a nice slice which goes deep and forces Nick to run. It's a beautiful response there by Kyrgios to the slice backhand. And it's 15:40. And you know what this means? It's 2 match points opportunities for Nick Kyrgios. I just want to make sure they are challenging. And it was in. And it's 2 match points opportunities for Nick Kyrgios. Can he capitalize on any of these break points?
Match point.
All right, 2 match points opportunities, but it is on the serve of JUBB. JUBB serving. Let first serve. 40-15. Oh, it's a big serve to the backhand, but Nix is able to return that deep. Oh no, the return went long. 30-40. 1 match point saved by JUBB. 30-40. Yeah, our project saying Kyrgios waiting for his opponent to make an error. It is strange that it's not usually how he plays. Kyrgios now with a backhand return to the second serve. JUBB. JUBB forehand goes long, wide. JUBB forehand goes wide, and Nick is able to get through this game. And he does silence the crowd, and he wins this match maybe a lot longer than it should have been. Nick is able to take that game, and he takes the last set, 7-5. Kyrgios through to the next round of Wimbledon.
When I step out on the court getting furious, all the people come to see me cause they're curious. You'll be eating up these aces, I'm victorious. Don't be questioning my mind. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios. It's King Kyrgios.
And Kyrgios is able to take it through in the end. It was tighter than it looked like it should be at the end, but he does pull it through. Are you happy? Let me know in the chat. And if you're happy that he wins, hit the like button on this video. If you're unhappy that he won, hit the like button on this video. Either way, hit the like button on this video as they are applauding JUBB off court, local hero. So well done. If you want to show your respect to JUBB for how he played, hit the like button on this video to show some respect to JUBB. Well, 5-set thriller in the end, and Nick Kyrgios is able to pull this through. In the end, I think it's his big serve that enabled him to save all those break points. If we look, 11 out of 13 break points save. It was a good handshake there at the end. It's nice to see that Nick's frustration was geared towards the crowd rather than to JUBB as a player. Yeah, he didn't really acknowledge the crowd after the win at all. Just like very quickly. He was not happy with the crowd today. In the end, it did not affect him to such an extent that he wasn't able to pull this through. And now he's going to have an interview, and this is going to be very awkward because he's obviously mad at the crowd. And now he has to like say thank you and stuff. Let's see how honest is he going to be in the interview. Nick. Congratulations. It was a fight. How tough was it? He says it was incredibly tough. He had nothing to lose. Crowd was rowdy. Let's see. All right, so Nick said there were a couple of people in the crowd that wasn't shy to criticize him, and this win was for you. And now the presenter is asking, like, but sure, there are some Nick fans here as well. Now people are cheering because they just want to make it less awkward from here, I guess. Okay, I was just curious what he's going to say with regards to the crowd. Let's get to the chat here. What are your thoughts on Nick winning this match in the end? Koya asking, hello, hope you're all well and not fighting amongst each other as to use the goat. No, this is YouTube comments section. Why would we debate amongst the goat? Why would that happen? Stefan saying, what a shocking match. Yeah, I can't believe it went 5 sets. In the end, Kyrgios was able to pull through the W. I don't know. They're asking something and they're laughing. I'm not sure what they're saying. Art Project saying, after taking the first set 6-1, the rest of the match was disappointing play from Nick. It was. He played very passive. And that's a bit concerning for me. Gary saying, at Grand Slams, it's all about winning match by match. Doesn't matter if it's pretty or ugly. That's very true. I'm just scared about his stamina, considering that he's playing doubles as well. And we know Nick has had problems in the past, like going far throughout the tournament when there's a lot of matches and sets to be played. But it's true. A W is a W. From here, anything can happen. Lord Buckethead saying, lol, Mr. Kyrgios. It's kind of catchy. It is, right? So I didn't create it. That's the brilliance of Ben, one of the founders of Game to Love Tennis podcast. There's a song for this for every player on tour, basically. If you like it and you're new, consider subscribing to the channel for other songs coming your way as well. Is it on Spotify? I don't think it is. As far as I know, with regards to the songs, when they retire, usually the songs are released on YouTube as a separate song. Dubai. Kyrgios learns he can go the distance. He can go the distance. Perhaps this will boost his confidence going forward. Maybe, but I think the con of laxy stamina now being tired is more a con of his confidence now being a pro. Yeah, I think so. Gary saying, happy Nick won. We need intrigue for the tournament. Yeah, especially with the draw now with Berrettini and Cilic and Hurkacz gone. We need these big guns that we know can cause a W against your great players. Otherwise, it's just a bit predictable. Dream Tennis, what's the next stream for me? I'm not sure, to be honest, so I can't answer that. I'm not sure. Jared saying Nick is making things harder on himself in the early rounds. He has the body and stamina of a 36-year-old, so he needs easy matches in early majors. Yeah, I tend to agree with that one. Midfield Maestro, where are you from, sir? I am from South Africa. Let me just put this camera now. Yes, we don't need to see the match any longer. And I'm just going to remove the scoreboard as well. Yeah, so I'm from South Africa. So hello from South Africa. Gary saying, got to switch over to Rafa's match. I'm on great work as always. Thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate it. Always happy to see you in your content. Thank you very much. I actually also want to go to Rafa's match. I assume he's now playing. So I'm not going to stick around for long. Let's just get through these final chat messages. Less joking than usual from Nick. Yeah, I thought, I must be honest, there at the end when it got tight, I was like, oh, it's going to choke. Luckily, from a Nick's perspective, he did not. So, but then as Art Project says, you can also argue that he did choke by letting JUBB back into the match. Like, it should not have even been close at the end. So, good, like, didn't choke when it became close, but you could argue he choked in making it close because it was like 5-2 and then suddenly 5-4. So, yeah, point of view thing once again, like Obi-Wan. Midfield, I knew I could tell from the South African accent. I'm South African too. Oh, wow. Okay. Nice fellow South African. Yeah. Tell from the accent, meaning I have a horrible English accent. That's true. You can hear I'm Afrikaans, actually. So, yeah, no, my accent is horrible. How do you say tweener in Afrikaans? You would say a tussener, I think. A tussener. Tweener, because in between is translated as tussenin. So in, so it's a tussener. I don't know. That's what I'm going with. Thank you for the stream coverage, Art Project. Thank you, Art Project. I think it's the first time I've seen you in the stream. I hope to see you in a later stream again. Tot ziens, Jared. Hoop jy het 'n lekker dag verder. Ek sal jou weer op 'n ander uitsaaiing sien. Vir jou op 'n ander ene. All right, thanks everybody listening to the Nadal stream. I'm going to do exactly the same. So cheers, thank you everybody for joining me. Hit the like button on this video before you leave. I will see you again in a future stream. Until then, thank you very much. Game to Love family, always nice chatting with you. And I will see you again in Wimbledon, the grass tournament that we all love so much. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.